Sound is speeding.
Sounds
Gabriel.
speed on me as well.
Cool, man. Sound speeding.
Sound speed.
Oh, man. It's the Movie Addicts podcast. We're speeding, right?
Yeah, we are.
This is amateur hour here.
Yeah, camera speeding. I'm going to give it a nice...
It's amateur hour. Gabe's blowing it.
We'll do 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Shit.
So basically, if you're caught mid-sentence, you have to wrap it up, bro. We got to cut, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But the audio doesn't stop.
Oh, okay.
Great. Hell yeah.
It's the Movie Addicts podcast. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We need to do a thing, don't we?
The thing.
Do
we have to?
Yeah, ready? Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Hell yeah. Look at this beautiful
Welcome
new
back.
face
Oh my
we
God.
have here.
How did
So
I
this
end up
is
here?
okay. So this is
Whoa. Help.
this is
Help
the
me,
movie.
No, I'm just kidding.
This is the Movie Addicts podcast.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back. We got a guest here today. Introduce yourself, guest.
I'm Sam. I just moved here 4 days ago.
Okay.
And they said, well, part of the rent agreement is you have to come up here and make an appearance.
We did
Or
say this. It was
evicted.
contractual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm here. Loving LA. It's very nice.
Sam's a New York guy.
I'm very New York.
He's a New York
Actually, I would
rootin'
consider
tootin'
myself more
motherfucker.
New Jersey, but
Say it again. You're New Jersey.
yeah, I would say it's more New Jersey. Some people get mad if they're
New
just
Jersey
like, oh,
guy.
I'm from New York. It's like, oh, you're actually from New Jersey, but yeah.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't get mad at such a thing. To me, like New Jersey and New York are very, kind of part of the same
They
cheesecake.
definitely are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people who are like, no, I'm from Manhattan. It's like, I'm from Jersey City. It's like, I mean,
In my opinion, living there, Manhattan's for kind
Squeeze
of
them
like the
together.
rich bitch yuppies. And yes, I lived in a great working class neighborhood, all that stuff. But it's definitely known. Anybody who lives in Jersey, most likely, potentially at some point, their ancestors lived in like fucking Queens or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like The Sopranos. How like
Oh yeah, like
the
intro
New
is
York,
always
the New
him
York.
driving.
Yeah, they're always trying to draw this distinction in The Sopranos, of like, oh, it's the New York families, the New Jersey. I'm like, what's the difference?
And the thing is,
Someone
the
asked me
drive,
to that show where I'm like, what's the difference? There's no difference.
right.
It's just these guys live in, like, these guys are like over the bridge, the other guys are over the other side of the bridge. Like,
Yeah.
what's the?
That's it. It's the simplest.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's not really
the
that
Arizona Bridge to
complicated.
Staten Island.
Do you notice
or
that during the title sequence when he's driving, he finishes like a whole cigar? That's how long and torturous the drive to New York and New Jersey
That's
is.
a great point, Sam.
He's just like smoking
Sam,
a
that's a
cigar.
great
He's
point.
like, oh, almost done. I'll save it for the drive
Tony,
back through the tunnel.
The number of cigars Tony Soprano smokes, I'm like, how is this guy not throwing up all the time?
I gabagoo on myself. I don't know.
Rest in peace to
And,
James
he's a
Gandolfini.
wonderful actor.
Rest in peace. The
Interesting.
Sopranos is one of the best shows ever. Probably my favorite show. Probably that and Mad Men are two of my two favorite TV shows. The writing is just so ridiculously good, but it does have that. It does have that New York, New Jersey thing that I think actually I find it's a little funny when because you can. I'm pretty sure David Chase, the creator, grew up in New Jersey, so it's like clearly it's a real distinction that he's drawing like to him that's coming from like his personal background. And I hear like New Jersey, New York people like draw that distinction too, but from a Massachusetts guy's perspective, I'm like, it's kind of similar people, just on different. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it helps that you're with
similar Italian guys on what?
Oh, I thought you meant you were feeling similar from Massachusetts, but
What do you mean?
I dropped the ball. I was confused. I'm sorry, Dale. Dale, drink your coffee.
This may be the first time on the
did you
Movie
finish
Next
your
podcast
apple?
I'm actually drinking coffee. No, that's not true. I spilled. What I was just about to say was the craziest thing.
Go on.
Like I tried to just say, "Oh, I've never had coffee on the podcast." Literally spilled coffee on my shirt.
Exactly. That was episode ago? 2 episodes? 2 episodes. That was the episode.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
I think
It's all a blur to me.
It's all a blur.
Um,
Can we talk about why Sam is here?
in what sense?
Sam,
Why are
did
you here in
come to
Los
LA?
Angeles?
Why am I here in LA? I shot one crappy movie too many in New York, and I said, "This is it. I'm over." You know.
So all these movies
I
were
came
shot
over.
in New York? Could you
Yeah,
explain that a little more?
Okay. Well, I mean, I was like, shooting a bunch of small little things in New York. But
Yeah.
actually, I don't know. I kind of worked.
Explain
on a
what you
couple-
mean by smaller, because you were more specific about it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I shot a lot of like short films for friends and just like around and like I don't know if you know Trauma Entertainment. I'm sorry. And then that's like what I worked on. But then I also just like worked in around. There was a lot of movie stuff going on in Connecticut, so I just like worked there because it's right next door. For sure. Yeah.
What?
And then like now I'm
Interesting.
headed here because I'm headed off to the wonderful AFI Conservatory
American Film
place this guy
Institute.
went to.
That I'm graduating. We're just talking with Eva, our roommate, about I'm graduating in theory, but like, am I really graduating? Like, it doesn't. The graduation's before the final engagement I have at the school, and like I'm still getting all these fucking like it's never gonna end. It's like the Sam Kinison bit I was in. I'm in hell, like it is. It really is my favorite Sam Kinison bit. I'm in hell, God. And like that's me right now. No, but I'm fine. No, but you're in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your life's gonna be shitty for 2 years.
Well,
no,
when
it's
I
actually
graduate,
fine.
I'm just
no,
cutting
it's
it
good.
off cold turkey and moving on. I'm not gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the thing,
Faster, in and out.
Sam. Here's the thing, right? Wait, I'm getting the static, man.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's just because it's the power. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's
So so Sam's about to start at the American Film Institute. And explain. So the American Film Institute has 6 disciplines.
Yeah, it does.
They're a conservatory program. It's a graduate program. And which discipline are you in?
I am a cinematography program fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cinematographers are really, really talented. So what that means is that Sam is a bona fide
I've seen a movie or two.
artiste, because all the cinematographers in the AFI conservatory program are very talented across the board, pretty much. And that's just speaking from my direct experience with
Sam,
them.
what do you think? What project, honestly, got you into AFI?
Well, actually, I think it was my essay. I don't think it was my photography. Because I talk to them. We talk about it because they get different people. It's a whole thing. Like you have to submit.
It was your
stuff
photography.
You shot. No, it was not. Just like still photos.
I'm sorry.
'Cause,
Okay.
You have to submit stuff you shot for like film, and then you also have to shoot like still photos and just give them like 8 to 10 still photos.
Yeah.
You have to write an essay, obviously, and they also have like. Did you have to do it like it was like a 1-minute exercise where they give like a theme for the year, and it's kind of like Iron Chef where they're just like.
So since
Except they go like this year was like. Restriction, and then like you have to make like a 1-minute little thing.
Okay.
So I mean they like that one and they like my essay, yeah. And also I guess.
What was your essay about?
My essay was about how I was playing in band in high school and how I went on stage and I completely bombed solo for jazz band, and then they liked it and I was just like, it's kind of gonna be like you got to do that from time to time, and you pick yourself up. Something. It was a little bit better when I wrote it. It was a little bit funnier, and they like it because apparently cinematographers who apply to AFI do not have a sense of humor, and so they're just like, oh, thank God, this guy just talks like a human,
some of the I'm trying to think of the cinematographers in my cohort. Some of them do, and some of them don't. Like I don't know, like some of them like what I mean. They let it like it's like half and half because cinematographers can be very serious.
I think so, yeah.
I'm thinking of like Ben Grant being very serious. Granted, Ben has a great sense of humor.
Ben does have a good.
Great sense of humor. Shout out to Ben Grant. Love Ben Grant. Hope you're doing well. He's like shooting something, and guy goes all over the place. Shoots things. He's in Virginia. I don't even know where he is right now. Anyway. But he's very serious, but has a great sense of humor. So I think you're onto something with you saying, oh, I had a sense of humor when I applied. I'm sure that paid off, man.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that. You don't understand. Like sometimes people, I think, at AFI people can get a little tense, a little too serious.
Yeah, I mean,
and if you can lighten up a little bit, it's great.
I especially think like
people
for film,
dig it. People will always dig like when you lighten up a little bit and you take away some of the pretense.
I mean, I think that's like the thing,
respond,
right? Because when you apply to college, right, these people have to read thousands of applications, and like the one thing that they don't like is just like, oh, ever since I was little, like, film is the most beautiful, important art.
Totally.
Like, it's like, if you just got to kind of be real. And I think that's what it was. Like, you know me, like, I don't really, BS around. I kind of just like, okay, this is me. This is my thoughts on it. And so I got kind of said my thing, threw in a joke here or there. And I didn't really, like, just, like how college applications, sometimes you just say, like, oh, I want to show them the person that I think they want me to be versus just, like, show them exactly
being
like,
yourself.
who you are. Yeah.
Sam, it's so funny you say that because I think when I applied, now that I'm thinking about it, I submitted 2 writing, since it's a screenwriting cohort, so I just submitted writing samples. I submitted 2. I submitted one that was just a straight up drama that I believed in. It was drama, just as, they wanted like a short script, so it was like a drama short script, pretty good one. And then I submitted like a scene, and the scene was it's funny because the scene was completely different from from the tone of the short. So I actually didn't. I don't know. This wasn't that intentional on my part. The scene was much more what I like to do. What I'm kind of working on right now, which is more dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a dramatic situation, but it's the voice is very silly and whimsical and sort of bantery and things. And so I was like, I submitted those two things, and actually now I'm thinking about it. That must have shown them kind of there's some range here, or there's an ability to like not take yourself too seriously.
Well, I think especially because like I think maybe your writing or your personality actually like showed itself on that one. They probably were just like, oh, like I could tell like this is exactly what this guy would want to do or something like that.
Yeah.
When it's illuminating about like what you actually kind of do or what you like to do, I think that's like more important versus just saying like here's just an objectively decent like drama piece that you assigned me to do and I'm trying to do it to your.
And it's funny, I was very
something like that.
I feel like my samples did actually represent like. It's so funny that my samples represented kind of what I'm coming out of AFI with, which is kind of cool. Like I sort of went in with like an intention was there. It was hard for me to wield it, and this is what I think you're in for the next 2 years, which is a great thing. You go in there. You have there's an artist in there in you, and then they're gonna like kick the shit out of you and kind of like battle test your artistry, and then you'll come out with like hopefully the hope is that you come out with the same. The you that was in there, the artist that was in there is just it's bigger and stronger and not like so and it's easier to wield. It's like a sword. It becomes like a sword that you can unsheath.
I do like katanas, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Only God Forgives. Yeah. Shout out to Nick Reffin. Shout out to Ryan Gosling. No. We were talking about Only God Forgives.
Yeah. Speaking of Ryan Gosling, or I don't know.
We're talking Gray Man today.
Sam's looking for a solid transition right now.
We're talking Gray Man.
Oh,
all right, Sam, do you think you're running the show now?
No, I just...
Sam, we're going to have to
Sorry,
ask you
I'm
to
actually
leave real quick.
I'm actually held here against my... No, I'm just kidding.
Cut to his feet with
Cut to an insert of me.
Oh, yeah. Well, they can't see our feet. They can't see what's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Sam's shackled? Is that what you said? What did you say?
My feet are in stockades. Dude. I have a word quota before they release me on the podcast.
Yeah,
we're only at about, I think, 500
You didn't read the
words.
lease well enough because, we put a lot
You really
of
have
things
to
in
read
there
those
really into the
iTunes terms and
podcast.
conditions.
That's
Yeah.
it, man. You're done.
Yeah.
It's like that. Isn't that a South Park episode of I signed away myself to slavery, like in the Apple contract or something,
no,
and it's like fuck.
Just,
no, it's the human centipede thing, right?
Yeah, they
yes.
repo his body.
Oh
or
my
something.
god, that's fucking good shit. Those guys are geniuses. The Matt Parker and Trey Stone, right? Trey Parker and Matt Stone, is that?
Trey Parker.
Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
Matt
Man,
Stone,
the writing in that show is fucking kick-ass. Like that's so good. Like basically blending like something real, which is like Apple's crazy terms and conditions that you have to read through, but that you just accept without thinking about it. And those,
and if you do,
and then coupling it with the human centipede, like but part of the contract is that they put in there that you have to be part of a human centipede. Like, wow, that's good. That's funny shit. That's a great, like, linking those two things. It's pretty
also
brilliant.
in terms of just like a simple like culturally relevant, they're also great at always commenting on society. Like there's always a way to say.
You know why they do this? Because like, have you ever seen their behind the scenes like doc 7 days to air? Basically, every episode is done 1 week before they air.
I don't think I've seen the full doc. Where did you watch? Did you watch the full thing?
I think so. Actually, I actually think it's just on YouTube or it's on the.
But I always wondered if there was like a full version I could buy to watch.
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, I don't know.
So
the
clips on YouTube are so interesting and so fun. And I was like, "Fuck, where is the full thing?" You know. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. But that's how they stay. That's why like a lot of their things are topical in the news and stuff is because they're literally writing it while it's happening 7 days before it airs. So yeah.
It's so interesting how important process is, right? Like that's like imagine if they changed their process, it would change the whole show. And they're like, no, we got to do this process.
And it's like 20 years
ago. It's really
ago.
writing it, yeah.
Right.
And they're disciplined about it and clearly like love doing it.
Apparently, there was a time I might be completely wrong about this, but when they first did the art style, they were actually using paper cutouts.
The pilot was, and then it took way too much time. So actually,
Sam, you know some shit about this.
Matt Stone
You're
and Trey Parker,
fanboying out right now.
They started at Trauma Entertainment, and so what happened is they
what?
Yeah, they did. So their first movie
company.
was,
So the company to be clear, the company that Sam used to.
I mean, I my first job was PAing on the most recent Trauma Entertainment feature film.
What's the word? What entertainment?
Trauma.
Trauma.
Yeah, Troma.
Troma.
It's just like
Troma.
Yeah. It's like
Troma.
a purely phonetic word that they made. Because like, what's a word that just like sounds like it's a thing, but it's not really a thing. Anyway,
Great.
So I worked on the thing. I ended up coming up working with some of the personal assistants to Lloyd, the guy who runs it, like shooting a couple stuff with them, just growing up there. Just because like I needed something to shoot, and they were like, hey, you could shoot it. No one else will. And I was like, okay, I need practice.
Yeah.
But anyway, they started there. Cannibal the Musical feature film, right? It's something they made right out of Colorado University.
Did they go to
Denver.
Boulder?
It was one of the Colorado
Or University of
colleges.
Denver.
I don't know. I think it was the University of Denver, but they made it, and Troma picked it up for distribution. And then afterwards, actually, Comedy Central.
Wow.
They made the pilot, and they pitched South Park to Troma to be like, hey, do you want this animated series? And Troma passed on it. They're just like they passed on it. They're like, I
Dude,
don't
because
really
the
think
pitch must have been like, what?
yeah, it was like, well, I mean, it was raunchy, right? It was like perfect for Troma. It was like, the pilot is like, Cartman, buttholes, poop, stuff like that. And then Comedy Central,
It's like incredible to me. Yeah.
for
yeah,
the
keep
benefit
notes,
of
it's
history and society, probably, Comedy Central picked it up.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like Troma
Wow.
also just picked up a lot of other random shit. Like
Wait, so Troma passed? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Did-
no.
Was I like spitting? I was
No,
like,
no, no.
you leaned back as if I was like,
no, I'm letting you. I'm letting you take the wheel.
No. Don't let me take the wheel. I want to keep hearing
Yeah.
what you're talking about. This is like super interesting shit. Wait, so Troma passed and then came back to it?
No, they passed it, and then Matt Stone and Trey Parker said, "All right, well they passed on. Let's move out to LA." They were like living in their apartment. They had a pitch meeting. They got it to Comedy Central. They're like, "Okay, great, make another episode." And I think like the first episode of season 1, they made in their apartment with the paper, and they're just like, "This is taking too long. We have to start animating it with like computers or whatever."
Wow.
Something like that. And it's crazy because like the whole distribution story of like like what if it's kind of crazy. But Troma, during that time too, they picked up. Well, actually, it was a little bit before, but they actually had the rights to Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro for the U.S. box office. So the U.S. theatrical run for My Neighbor Totoro was Troma Entertainment's. And there's an original can of print that I actually physically held in my hands in the basement where it has the original English dub from the theatrical run, which is completely different. Oh, no, it wasn't the dub. It was the subtitle track printed on the 35mm projection print.
Yeah.
Was different than when they like changed distributors and like kind of redid the subtitles. So it's a different subtitle track. Some people prefer it versus like what you actually see on like Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And also the remasters.
A
little bit of
just
trivia.
witnessed Dale's mind.
Yeah,
melt
a little bit of
just
trivia,
A little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, well, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
Sam, this is why we wanted to bring
Sam
Sam
is
on
a
the pod.
machine.
You asked why we bring him on the pod. This is
Who's
why.
this man?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Movie Addicts podcast.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Sorry that we're sourcing all this talent. It's just living in our. Sorry that just talent is living in our house.
Sam.
Sam.
Ooh, it's a little hot in here.
Sorry, no, but you know what I mean.
I feel like like when
It's
a chef.
hot.
Yeah, when a chef.
You
cooks
didn't think
like
it
a
wasn't
frog-
going to be hot, right? Did you think
No,
it was
I knew
making it
it
up?
was going to be like this, but it's kind
Sam,
of like
I want you to be okay with this. The mic. I don't want it to fall off your lap. So, do you want to put it in your pocket or something?
No, it's okay because I can make sure that.
Okay,
like,
so you're
it's-
listen. If
'cause
you're
I-
cool
no,
with it,
it's-
you're
it's
cool with it.
I'm cool with it.
All right,
You
all
can
right.
tap
Sorry.
the side button, and then you definitely won't bump anything.
Oh, you mean turn it on?
No, yeah, just hit the side screen.
but the-
right here.
oh,
Right,
okay.
good. Watch this. Do that.
Okay.
And then still right.
Oh, shh.
Yep. And then
Okay.
you can just
Okay,
tuck
thank
that.
you.
I got you. Boy.
But what I was gonna say is just like like how when you, well, I've never cooked frog legs, but the thing is like you can't put a frog in boiling water because it'll jump right out.
Wait,
so like
real
you have
quick.
to you have
I'm
to
sorry
put
to
it in
interrupt.
Wait a minute.
cold water and slowly heat it up, and that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
That's kind of what's happening. We're just staying in here.
Are you the frog?
We're 3 frogs hanging out as the attic slowly gets warmer.
We're all frogs.
Yeah.
We're frogs.
'Cause,
ribbit, bitch.
Yeah. Gabe
Ribbit.
gave you
So
a
like,
tour.
who's like?
Ribbit's
There's
ribbit.
no like. Who's the figurative pot? Who's the? Where this is the pot.
Yeah,
Who's the
the
figurative
attic
like
is the
person
pot.
throwing us in the pot?
I guess we are. I guess
I guess we're also
the
Capitalism.
chef. We're the chef.
It's capitalism.
driving us.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yes.
Are you on airplane mode?
What?
Because if a phone call happens, that'll stop the recording.
No. Okay. Put it on airplane mode right now.
Okay.
This is welcome to the Movie Addicts podcast. This is the process. Put it on airplane mode.
I did it.
Done. My hero.
The
You're a bozo.
easiest
Your product
enter-
stinks, and for that reason, I'm out.
The easiest
Um,
one.
Let you go.
That was Gabe. That was a smart call.
That's what I'm here
That was
for,
a smart
baby.
call.
That was a smart
It was
call.
a smart
I'm
call.
here for.
This guy's smart. This guy's smart. No, he's an idiot. No, he's smart. He's smart.
These are my friends.
Yeah.
Thank you, friends.
Yeah. Off screen, like Gabe fucking sucks. So that I mean, anything else we want to brush up, fellas? We got
Well,
an
we got
absolute
onto
stinker
South
of a
Park.
movie to get to
We got
today.
on South
Sorry to
Park because
Yeah. So we just
fascinating.
Yeah,
The
we
South
just
Park
talked
shit's
about the
fascinating.
Matt Stone. Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
Yeah, you worked at Trauma.
Yeah.
Anywhere
Wait, so
else?
is Trauma? You know what Trauma's reminding me of? It's like Roger Corman's. movie house.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I'm here in LA trying to go to AFI, trying to put it in the past, But like,
but it sounds like it was still an influential experience on you.
Oh,
like, in a good way.
Yeah, like I had to practice my skills, right? So, yeah. And the thing
Dude,
is, like,
that's rad though. I think that's
there
rad.
weren't a lot of people who or like, it was people in that community, and there was like, yeah, well, we have like scripts or whatever, so shoot it, and then so I just like got to shoot a bunch of stuff. For nothing, no one ever got paid, but still, like we got to shoot stuff.
I mean, that's how you cut your teeth.
Yeah, that's how you cut your teeth.
It sounds it's a Roger Corman kind of situation.
It's exactly like Roger Corman, like the Full Moon or like the Asylum type movies where like they make it for like super cheapo.
Yeah.
And they just
I'm a big believer that if you can't do it, as I'm shooting apples at you, I'm a big believer that if you can't do it for nothing, then you can't do it for something. You got to be willing to do it for less before you're trusted with more.
Yeah.
I agree with you, my friend. We were talking about this in the living room yesterday.
Yeah,
kind of about
budgeting,
like people feeling like they're gonna go make their first movie for $500,000.
If only I had $1 million.
And us just being like, yeah, but don't.
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
that's also true. Like
scary.
in terms of like
go make it for like pennies.
prove that you can make it for pennies.
Because it goes to the South Park. Those guys are. I mean, there's no way they had fucking a bunch of dough. Like, make this early shit. They just made it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they believed in it, clearly. And they were, like, their best salesmen. They were salesmen for themselves.
They were obviously also very funny and talented.
Exactly,
so, like,
right?
It's really
Also
shown,
true.
But imagine people very funny and talented, but it's easy to say that now. I'm sure, because you're saying, like, Troma passed on it. Because Troma was probably like, what? The paper cutouts and they're talking about dicks and
I forget
what, you know what I mean? Like
why.
but it's also like a cultural what is this? Like what? And all of them have weird voices, and you guys are doing like a majority of the voices, and then there's like cameos. Like what is this? Do you know what I mean? Like the pitch must have been far fetched. I always think it's so. You know what I mean?
No, I know what the pitch was like. It's like, how much money do you want? I want this amount of money. No, I can't do that. that was what it was.
Yeah, no, we're not doing
this is
that.
actually pretty funny. I love pee pee poo poo. How much do you want? I can't do that. That's literally the pitch. That was probably it.
These motherfuckers, man. Dude, that's funny shit.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, right? Like hitting that ceiling as an artist, being like, oh yeah, you're not actually willing to. Oh, you like the thing, you're not willing to invest in it though. Oh shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess I have to go elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Or crowdfund.
Yeah.
Dale loves to crowdfund.
No, I don't love crowdfunding. It's the worst. I said to Emma Waters. I said, I hate crowdfunding.
For the fun of it.
I think I said to Emma Waters. I think what I texted her exactly was, I hate crowdfunding. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. And I think she thought that was very funny. But
that sounds like a review for
what?
That sounds like a review for ziplining off the cruise line. Just
dude,
like,
it's awful. It's terrible. People it's illogical. It makes no sense. People who give you like thousands of dollars will be like, no, it's fine, man. Do whatever, man. And then people who give you $10 would be like, where's my
T-shirt?
Sign poster?
Goodness.
And there's no law. That doesn't make sense. It's like the lady on OfferUp today. I'm about to go off. Lady messages me on OfferUp today. I sent her a bundle of ties. I sent her 4 ties.
Oh, okay.
Bonus tie, by the way. Sent her 3 ties plus a bonus tie. USC tie.
Dale's a business.
Really?
Fight on.
That's not
Fight
precious?
on.
USC?
Fight on. What?
That's not precious to you? The USC alma mater?
Shit.
Your tie?
Why did I get... No, but I can just buy another one. The bookstore is like 10 minutes
Oh,
away.
I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
No, it wasn't like some special... Turns out, like, my mom gave it to me.
Like your class.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Go on.
Lady messages me.
After giving her a great deal.
I want to read. Oh no, I can't. No, don't. I don't. I was looking for my phone. Okay. She said, "Hi, the ties have a extremely strong odor."
Was your neck sweaty or something?
No, dude. Oof. Dude.
Dale, did you wash them?
Well, you can't really wash ties.
Shut up, man. I gave her 4 ties for $15. These are silk ties, man. Dry clean them yourself. Oh my God, Gabe! I knew you were gonna say that. Dry clean them yourself, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely.
And she's like, "Can you please explain the odor?" No, I'm not gonna explain. It's humiliating. I'm not gonna explain the odor.
Jerry Seinfeld.
I'm up in the air. I get no air up there. No. I'm getting a cup of coffee. The lady says,
I will say in your defense,
does your ties smell like shit?
4 ties for $15 when they're probably like $80 total. You could throw them in the wash. Not you, her.
I
She
don't-
can take
Yeah,
care of
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Like,
got you, man.
like it's not. This isn't Walmart.
This isn't Walmart. This
And
ain't
I
Sam's
gave you a
Club.
bonus tie that I like never wore. What do you want from me?
It's exactly like a Seinfeld.
No, but like,
I gave her a bonus die, Jerry. Yeah.
dude,
Money.
what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
Did she
I know.
describe what the
I'm
odor was like?
humiliated.
Like
Now I'm
musty?
feeling gross. You're basically saying I'm gross.
Yeah.
You know. Well, what did
Fuck
she ask
you.
out of it? She was just like,
I'm getting my 15. And you know what? If she's not gonna have enough time. This lady's clearly an OfferUp rookie. She's not gonna have enough time to file like a claim and
Absolutely.
get her money back.
Nope.
That money's going into my checking account tomorrow.
Good. Also, I want to point out,
Motherfucker.
knowing Dale, this guy's a very well-groomed, good-smelling man. So this is a fluke.
There's no way she's trying to humiliate me by
Colin's
saying there's some
unhinged
sort of
right now,
horrendous odor. What am I, an ogre? There's no way it's a horrendous odor. Underline horrendous? No. No.
You know what's
Not
also?
Colin
You know
Dale.
what I'm gonna throw out there? She's talking about the odor. If it was really concerned, not to be like icky, wouldn't there be like stains on the tie? She would have pointed that out. She didn't. What if the driver opened up the box, wore the ties, all the way to the
I
location?
don't know. It's so strange. I don't know.
Stop, Gabe.
Well,
Like,
what-
now
she
that
didn't
idea's planted in
describe
my
it at
head.
all. It was just because, like, musty and being, held in storage is a different
No, you're
thing
right.
versus
It's
something
very
like
vague, but
body
it's
odor,
very specific.
Or, like,
By the way, you think I didn't smell the ties before I sent them?
Well, the thing is, like, it's your own pheromones, so maybe you can't smell them, because that's home for
This
you.
lady, you bought used ties.
Okay.
What do you want from me? Thanks for your help, Sam.
This went really
I'm
well.
glad we
guys.
figured this out.
Yeah, that was movie.
That's the movie I
that's
talked
movie
about.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Sponsored by
Is there anything
Walmart
else you guys
ties.
wanna brush
Walmart
up?
ties.
No, like this isn't Walmart. Okay, you want fresh smelling, brand new ties? Go to Walmart.
And you're still not gonna get 4 for $15.
Probably not, no.
There's gonna be 1 for $15.
I mean, 4 for $15. We're talking about
Yeah, that's
$3.75 a
$4.25.
tie.
Well, $4. Oh, yeah.
Do you have an OfferUp account? You want to let the people know about it?
Yeah, don't buy things from me. Or if you want me to hate you, try to buy something from me.
Show up on the Movie
Other,
Addicts podcast.
like if you like me at all, don't buy things from me because I'm gonna resent you and
Dude, I'm gonna
you're
buy
gonna
something
resent
off
me. and-
OfferUp just for it to go away and then come back to the house.
OfferUp fucking sucks.
It's fine. You're getting money. How much money have you made on OfferUp?
Well, if this lady files a claim successfully and takes away my $13.01, I mean, how much money have I made on it? Wait a minute. $75 so far.
There you go.
That's pretty
There you go.
fucking good.
That's fantastic. And how much?
A
The
woman
75
picked up a
bucks-
mirror yesterday from me. Shout out to her. She was very nice. She was like,
I
I
didn't say
looked in
this
the
mirror
mirror.
smelled. She was like,
And the mirror probably did smell, dude.
this mirror has a terrible
If
odor.
you're- if you-
Every time I look at myself, I just smell the
No, it's so
Can't stand it.
it's so it's just fucked up. I think we're nearing that time for
Yeah.
the reset, the
I was
camera
gonna- I was
reset.
gonna say,
So before we
perfect.
get into the dust up
Check.
and we talk about the Gray Man, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back with the Movie Addicts podcast.
commercial break on Tubi.
Do
Do you have like a commercial jingle?
No, literally just goes back on.
Okay.
We should.
We're back.
Oh, there's the beat. Starting again.
We're back with the Movie Addicts podcast. We love we get our listeners to really get a feel for the process we take them into the
Oh, do we have to slate again though? Because this is gonna be a different clip.
no.
No.
For the second.
We just let
Sam,
it
you're overthinking it, man.
Okay. I am.
Podcasting,
Slate
dude,
is
it's
literally
bullshit.
For the fun of it, it has no purpose.
Oh, okay. It has no purpose. I mean, I
It's
guess we can have the
stylistic.
audio, yeah.
It's a stylistic
Well,
slate.
No, we do have scratch audio. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm just the camera guy who walked in and was like, damn, you guys sync like this? Or
Sam, just remember, we've been doing this for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
We've
Sam,
got
okay,
experience.
I got it.
We have way too much experience doing this.
Sam, why don't you just step out?
It's not like Sam, you're first guest. Like you might be ruining it for the rest of the guests, and that's okay.
Well, thanks for ruining that the Movie Addicts podcast experience, Sam. That was really.
Sorry.
You know what else experience was ruined for me?
Oh no.
The Gray Man.
Yeah.
Oh wait, 3, 2, 1.
Spoiler
Spoilers.
alert.
All right, spoiler alert.
Granted, nothing could really be spoiled in this movie because every single thing that happens in it, down to every single thing everyone says, is so predictable. It made me want to throw up so much.
Not
I
even
really did
throw
throw
up.
up. I
According
really did
to
throw up.
one of Dale's great isms, starts with pale, rhymes with Schwanschwater. Somebody was sucking a lot of
pond water.
Thank you. During this entire film, Russo brothers, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what
Terrible.
you're thinking. $200 million was spent on, as I have said,
Get
the
your
most
head
expensive,
out of your ass.
the most
your
expensive
head out of your
B
ass.
movie to date.
It was a little bit.
It may be the most expensive B movie of all time.
It was a little expensive. It's more expensive than Irishman, which is crazy because they had like 6 cameras to de-age De Niro in all of them. You know? Yeah, or like, every time they had to de-age them, it was like 3 cameras in an array. And those are big expensive.
And The Irishman is fucking great.
Yeah.
And this is not.
But we're not talking about how
Still very
great Marty
expensive,
Scorsese is. We're talking about how
Bad this is.
the Russo brothers let us down.
The Russo brothers.
Or, I would say
Fucked it
it's just how over extended they were with budget, and just like, you really don't see it, I think, on screen.
It was a really beautiful.
For the quality
all
of
the
story.
trailers, everything about the casting, the marketing suggested it was going to be one of the best action thrillers of the year, and it was just toilet doo-doo.
Here's the thing on the Movie Addicts podcast. I want to say something. Gabe and I never go into something wanting to dislike it.
at all.
We really go in with good. We only really go to watch stuff because we think we might like it. And then if we
waited-
happen not to, we have to have the integrity to admit that we didn't dig it.
Yes.
what? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I've waited 2 years for this film.
Oh, really?
I was yes.
wow.
I've
2
been
years for
2
this?
years,
I
man.
think so. Yeah, probably.
I'm glad I
since-
didn't wait 2 years
Probably
for
since
it. Jeez
2020,
Louise.
I saw some teaser trailer, casting development. I don't know what, and I was like, "This is gonna be sick."
And they were stuck in production for a while, I think. Yeah. Or no, actually they delayed, I think, the release because, the whole market.
So again, 2 weeks in a row. Nope. I ultimately gave it a lockup because you should see the film.
Because Nope is a piece of art.
Yes, but
It's a fucking
it
great
was a
movie.
confusing experience by the ending, which kind of warrants a second watch. But I was waiting a long time for Nope. Same deal with this, and I'm telling you right now, this is one of the first films, if not a very long time ever, that within 25 minutes, I knew the next 90 minutes were going to be like pulling teeth out of my mouth.
It wasn't even the next
Yeah.
90 minutes. It was the next hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah. See, I was gonna
I
ask.
45 minutes in, I looked at the thing. I said, "How much is left?" I want to die.
So for you, it's 40 minutes. Because I was gonna ask at what point you
45
said.
minutes in, I was like, "Holy!"
You were just
shit,
like,
I don't know if I can
"Uh-oh."
do this anymore.
Because for me,
That's why I said I
yeah.
didn't like the opening scene.
Well,
I was
actually,
like,
because I like the opening scene.
I actually do like the opening scene. That was one of my favorite scenes. That scene and the scene where Ryan Gosling's arguing with Ana de Armas about you gave me a gun that's not loaded. I thought that scene was cool too.
the second scene.
Sorry, Sam. I didn't mean.
No, that's okay.
Sorry, Sam.
Sam,
the
you
second
suck.
scene. Screw you, Sam. Second scene. Dale pointed out how did anyone rehearse this or did they just get the script and walk on? That's how I felt for the opening scene.
Almost the entire movie.
For the
felt that
record,
way.
opening scene basically 19 years ago sets up the film. Billy Bob Thornton walks into a prison cell. Ryan Gosling's sitting there. He fucked up bad. He's probably been there for about 15 years.
That's supposed to be 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the same because he's
He
beautiful.
does, yeah.
Right?
He's just
So
clean
there's a little bit
shaven.
of license
I think it's also
there.
just lazy. Like if you can't make him, if you can't age him, if you can't create a difference between how he looks then and how he looks.
Yeah, couldn't they use another actor? You don't think they?
blonder?
No, they
think they
couldn't
could've
for
found,
20
like, a
years from a grown. Because the suggestion is that he's a grown
19.
man who's
Yeah.
30.
All I can say
Wait,
is
yeah. How old was he
And then
when he
he's-
was in jail?
I think he was early 20s.
Early 20s? Which means that he's pushing 40 when he's doing all those.
Fuck, you know what?
acting
You're right, actually. You know what? To their credit, actually,
Gosling
he looks
has not-
different. He looks very thin. He looks different in that
Yes.
opening scene than he
Yes.
does. Okay, to their credit.
But
to their
my
credit.
point is that scene, as soon as that scene happened, I'm like, oh, cliche. Oh, line from
It-
tough
yeah.
guy. Oh, responded from another tough guy who's kind of suspicious of what's going on. Oh, this is exactly what I got. Okay, another line. Let me convince you. I'm not convinced. Let
Yeah.
me convince you. Oh, now I'm
It's
convinced.
literally like
Set
if
up
you're a
the
male
whole
character
thing.
in this movie, you're gonna say witty, dumb, stupid things.
He's gonna be really cool.
and you're gonna be
gotta be
cool.
really
If you're a
cool.
female character in this movie, you're gonna say smart things that suggest that you're competent, and you're gonna what else? What were the other tropes of the? It was
know.
this movie operates in this stupid binary that just felt so.
Everybody at
It's like
all
a character
times,
binary or something like that. I don't know how to explain
Everybody
what
at
it is.
all times is Joe Cool / Sean Connery.
I feel
Which,
like-
by the way, Sean Connery's fantastic. So I'm not trying to create But the point is any kitschy '60s dialogue piece of line, every line. The
And
entire
isn't
time.
Ana de Armas isn't she a good
fantastic
actor?
actor, yes. I think
And then
they're
she's
all
in this
really
movie,
good.
and they're like, what is she being asked to do? What, she's basically
I I think she's a token. Like I think all the women in this movie they kind of
Oh,
play
well,
to
No,
tokens.
I think that's pretty. Honestly, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It sounds harsh, but I think it's pretty fucking true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I brought it up before that I felt, and we should probably confirm. Box office details we should talk about, if that's even a thing. Point is, we were talking about like.
I mean, no, there's no, like we won't be able to get any.
no metrics or nothing.
No, but hold on.
What I was getting at is we talked about how like one for the real, one for the meal. You know, so this I have a feeling for Ana de Armas. The agent, the studio, whoever it was, convinced her to do Gray Man for the meal. She's making her money. She's getting paid.
Yeah.
And now she's going to go do Blonde, which is going to be
her
rad. Big thing.
Andrew Dominic directing Blonde, by the way.
Netflix? You said Blonde is
Netflix, and Andrew Dominic, who's a really
How is
talented
it that
director.
Ana de Armas has 2 films on Netflix coming out within the same 52-week calendar, other than the fact that they convinced her to do 2 pictures? One that she's being tossed
Could be.
into because she looks great, and she is great, but, like, the material just doesn't support her.
But when was that movie made? Because like I mean, Green Man was made like in 2020 maybe.
Sure.
And then like they kind of sat on it to release it for this year, but like I think that second one. But you're right. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I feel like this is the kind of movie though where it kind of makes sense why these people took it. Like they're just like, oh, Rooster Brothers. Like last time we worked with them, like Chris Evans was like 100%. I'm coming back to work with them after Winter Soldier. That's a great movie.
Okay, fair
Had a
enough.
good experience with that, right? Ryan Gosling probably wanted to do like a leading man role in like this. He's never really did this since like Drive or whatever. So. But this is like way more actiony. So I think there's like incentive for all these actors to come on to this
He did Nice Guys.
big budget.
I really want to
Netflix
watch Nice
thing.
Guys.
And he did, but you're right, in terms of like action thriller, because
Yeah.
other 2 films I could think of since Drive, well, you're going to have to help me out here. Drive, before or after? Before Nice Guys.
Yeah.
Is it before, what's the rom-com he does with Emma Stone? The first one. not La La Land.
It is around that
Steve
time, I
Carell,
believe.
Kevin
I
Bacon.
can confirm
I
this.
think Julianne Moore.
Oh,
can
Crazy
confirm
Stupid
this.
Love.
Crazy Stupid Love.
Great movie, by the way. I like Crazy Stupid Love. Not a great
Strange
movie,
Place, a couple cars peeling past
Yeah,
the
no,
house.
Yeah, we
I
got
think, and I, like, I don't think this is the movie where it's like, what were they thinking taking this job? I think they were excited for the project,
Yeah.
I think maybe just like a couple of, small decisions here and there during the creation of it just ended up to, a more, like, I don't think the only fault, I think the only fault this movie has is really
I
just like
got
maybe
it.
the core story.
Crazy Stupid Love came out the same year as Drive, actually.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of what I assumed, yeah.
Which is
so
what year?
Crazy 2011. So
Wow,
so
guys,
so
11 years
Crazy
ago.
Stupid Love was a summer movie, which I
was in high
remember.
school, bro.
Same.
Which I remember it being a summer movie. I remember seeing it in summer of 2011. And then Drive came out September 16th, 2011.
So just
So
a couple
Drive
months
actually
later.
came out after,
Wow.
interestingly. Which is kind of like great. Like that's the thing is I respect the shit out of. Sorry, I didn't mean. Am I detracting from something you guys were? I was so busy.
No, we're just
So I respect the shit out of Ryan Gosling. I feel like he's so. Some of it's probably luck and just timing that he's not even in control of. But I mean, think about that, right? Releasing a movie like Crazy Stupid Love and then followed up months later by Drive. People are able to see you as like the rom-com guy, and then they're able to see you in this like pretty like this movie that's really like kind of alienating. It's not like not everyone's gonna love it.
Modern action noir, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a modern
and it's
one.
a cool movie. It's I
a
don't think
great
it's for
movie,
everyone.
I really like it.
I
love
really
Drive.
dig it though. I really dig it too.
One of my favorite Gosling picks.
But I'm saying like Gosling's so smart in that way where like he makes great career choices in my opinion. And not all of them are like smash hits, but they keep him on a steady path, you know?
Well, how did you like him in this movie? Because I actually thought he played the part,
Yeah,
And
so
I think
in The
he-
Gray Man, I mean,
Because I was gonna say him and Chris Evans. I think again, and this goes back to my point. Like I think the actors themselves probably did like as much as they could, and I think probably the most glaring weakness is just the core story. Literally took okay, what's popular? Let's take John Wick, Bourne Identity series, Mission Impossible
Bourne
series,
Identity.
every single like spy thriller, and just like mash it up and crank it to 11. I feel like that's what they want.
I think Gosling in this movie is similar to Ana de Armas, where I think he's floundering because he's like not working with really much of anything, and so he's
There's no character development.
0. And any character development feels really cheap.
The closest to character development, I'll put it out there, just thinking on the spot.
Was the girl the daughter?
I was going to say, Ryan Gosling's character, we don't really establish till later in the film, which makes it harder to empathize with him, but Ryan Gosling's character struggles with a relationship with his father. The reason he's in prison and is kind of like forgotten by society to begin with is because Gosling takes the life of his father.
Gothling. A young goth.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
That's Ryan. That's his next phase.
And his name is
Gosling.
Six.
Like goth. He's gonna become a goth.
His name is Six in the film. Six basically witnesses the beating of him and his brother.
Which, by the way, is like the corniest shit of all time.
For sure.
Six.
Six witnesses the death, witnesses his brother getting beat as a child, and in defense of his brother, kills his father. Years later, during the film, as explained, part of the action, he now has the opportunity to take a young girl under his wing.
Played by Julia Butters,
Thank
who's
you.
in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
She's great.
Yes. Yes.
And so, if anything, fine. He goes from like a hardened person.
Oh, Julia Butters, by the way, born in 2009.
I can't believe
That's
that.
crazy.
Wow.
It is.
I was in high
That's
school.
15 years. She's
Like
15
we're
years
talking about
younger
these
than
movies
me.
from 2011. She was 2 years old.
Yeah.
She's
Wow.
very good. She's very talented. I think she probably has a great. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail
No, it's
you, but
fine.
I think I said that it's like she's reminding me of like young Christian Bale a little
Cool.
bit, where she's
Oh,
really has
yeah,
chops
yeah,
at
yeah.
like a young age. Pretty cool. Anyway,
Sure. So point is, with if there is some character development, which I really think his is really the only one I see, it's that a man who takes the life of his father, so he doesn't have a father figure, doesn't want to be a part of that, finds himself in a father figure role, and kind of his self-discovery. Like, that's a great story right there.
I still think it's a little tropey, though, right? It's like
sorry. your boy's
Tropey,
eating
I'm not
a
mad
snack
about
right
if it's well executed
Yeah.
or it's not distracted. But the entire film, you can't pay attention to it because of every explosion and bad dialogue. And go ahead, Dale.
oh, you get that from the soundboard, yeah.
Is that cool, man? All right, great.
No, yeah, some.
All right, Sam. What were you saying? Tropey?
I think it's a little bit. I mean, that's not my biggest complaint of the movie. You know, I think it's like fine that they added that dimension, but like it was one of those things where while I was watching it, I said like, oh, of course, like now he's got to save the little girl. You know, like there's no other, you know, choice of character. You know, it's just they said, oh, there's got to be a little girl. Up the stakes a little bit. Obviously, she's young and like you add in the thing and they flash back, which I think it's like a fine tool in movie making, but I think it's just a good example of like their decision making for the entire movie, where it's just like, okay, we need this kind of character to fill this role, and like, but what do? They just do it for this one punchline that we see in all these spy movies or whatever.
What are your thoughts on, like, just thinking on it right now?
Get your shit together, Sam.
There's really no good authority
fucking up.
figures in this film at all. You can't trust authority other than Billy Bob Thornton, and even then, like I'm thinking right now, Billy Bob Thornton apparently is well intentioned, but he's also.
I love
am
Billy
I
Bob
crazy?
Thornton as an actor.
Isn't he kind of like hokey and weak in this film?
I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
really do much.
No,
if you
he
think
is.
about it.
He's sort of
Right.
he's very easily overtaken.
He is.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, anybody who's part of a government, whether you're a nobody policeman who didn't do anything wrong, he's just defending civilians, or you're like head of CIA, everybody is getting killed and destroyed and characterized in a very negative manner.
I think the
does.
Russo brothers, like, this directing is so weak. I can't even like. There's nothing to latch onto emotionally. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to be invested in?
Even the woman from
To what you're saying, by the
yeah,
way.
even the woman who's at the CIA, who at the end eventually brings Ryan Gosling in, shows her strength by shooting him in the leg, but ensuring he's not going to die, which I guess. And then B, she's suddenly competent because she's the one person who
Yeah.
could actually convince him to stay, and then he doesn't stay. So she, you know what I'm saying?
It's weird because like
This movie stinks.
it's weird because I can't help but think like the entire movie she goes like, why are we doing this? No, that's unethical. I'm just like, okay, you're the second in command. Can't you like do anything about it? She doesn't do
She's
anything
so-
until the end to deliver that like, shooting in the leg. That's right. I fixed it in the end kind of deal. Which is like,
not only
the
that,
writing
she-
is so weak that, like, it's to what you're saying. Whenever the story needs the people to be powerless, they're powerless.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, now he's screwed. Even though, like, wait, what?
Like, the
he
whole
is
time
like
Billy-
that
yeah.
easily, like, and then like like
and
you're
then
saying,
at the end, he's like,
woman,
"No, go without me. Just give me a grenade." He like does the heroic sacrifice, which of course there has to be the heroic
And
sacrifice.
of course, it doesn't actually do anything.
And you know what's crazy? That
I literally
happens
want to
twice.
throw up. How bad this is.
That
does.
happens twice. The other woman who was like there, she was retired and she was like in, it was like the Italian town or the Austrian town or something. And you know, like they all go in the room and she has like, they set up the booby trap and she's sitting there and it's just like, how many previous mentors are gonna blow themselves up,
Right.
you know, as a self-sacrifice? Which is like, you know, you can
That's
do that.
right. They did that.
They do that
Yes,
literally
you're
twice,
right.
back to back.
Holy shit. They repeated the same story beat within like 45 minutes.
It's the prestige, right? They're just like, hey, did you like that? Here's the encore, you know.
I'm just even more upset at this film. I didn't know I could get more upset at this film right now.
Well, what did you guys think about all the fast?
This is one of the worst. I want to be on record. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen. I don't want to understate how bad it is because here's the thing. We're not going to be on here in the Movie Addicts podcast just talking shit about stuff. Like we said, we only go into things with good intentions, good expectations because we like movies. But when something stinks on ice this hard, where it's almost egregious, we have to speak up.
There's also
Because what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
There's also room for like there being bad films that are still kind of fun to watch and joke and meme. Like I could almost go as far to say that I haven't seen this, so maybe this won't land. But Tommy Wiseau's film, what is that?
Oh, The Room.
The Room. From what I understand culturally, people would enjoy The Room more than this because
Yeah, but that's a different,
Because
completely
The
different.
Room at least has like a
though.
heartbeat.
I guess.
I mean,
Right?
it's
Am I
got
wrong?
a limp heartbeat, but you know, there's a little bit there.
No, but the point is you can have fun making fun of it. This I can't even make
No,
fun of.
actually, you know what? When I watched it, it started off like we're like, okay, this is a serious movie, but as soon as we hit that like 30-minute mark, we're like, okay, we're changing the tone of it. And then like it was one of those movies like you talk over it, you kind of point and laugh, and like, but
Yeah.
but the thing is like I still think I appreciate Gray Man as like spectacle because like you know the opening Bangkok. There was a lot of colors, a lot of fireworks.
The opening
firework
was beautiful.
Fight in what was it Bangkok? The New Year's
There
party?
was
Yeah,
a
Bangkok.
yeah,
But,
I
like,
think so.
Because the thing is, like, they actually, to their credit, like, they are veterans of the industry that made a movie that really looked pretty, in my opinion, right? And so, like, I could appreciate that, right?
It just feels like so.
It's just the core story that falls flat, and like,
Yeah.
no matter what you do, you really can't polish that or punch that up with like any like cool effect. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just felt so detached from like anything culture where culture is at right now, at least American culture. To the extent that it feels like egregious. It feels like, do you like understand like what's going on like in this country right now? Like are you living
Break
here?
that down. What do you,
It's
is there a
just like
specific
it bothers
theme
me.
you
It's
think?
like
Go
You
with
don't
one
think that
thing.
this is the time to have a movie like this or something? Just 'cause it
yeah,
doesn't
like
really
and
bring
that's
much to
that's
the
making
table.
that's moralizing a little bit. So I mean, this is just like but I'm like watching a movie where there's all these people getting killed and you feel nothing about it. We live in the time of like just mass shootings.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
And I'm like, I'm not on that wave. I don't know how many people are on that wave anymore. Even regardless of your political affiliation, like this shit, like it's gotten so dark, like in our country with like gun violence and shit, and that it's really bridged the political spectrum. Like people are like, damn, like this is fucked, right?
Yeah.
And so I do get a little irked, and you might disagree with me. I do get a little irked about like watching this movie where there's no emotional investment in the concept of violence. And that shit, again, it's a moral. I'm saying something moral, but it is something that like I can't help but think as I'm watching a movie like this. And so I could feel Sam maybe he disagrees with me. Or
I'm not gonna like extend it to that far, just because like I think that's starting to align with the argument back there. They were like, oh well, violent video games, that's what's like corrupting society. And I
Sure,
really
which
don't
is
think
not
so.
true.
Like, I don't think these movies are really aiming to do something like that. But like the thing is, you
no,
said-
I don't mean to.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. I don't mean that they're doing this. I'm not saying there's any malice or that this is having an effect on things that are happening. What I'm saying is like as a person putting out a cultural product, a piece of art or something, which is this is not. But a person putting out like a cultural product, let's say, like you have to absorb some of what's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And you put out something that feels like it's not, you soaked up zero of the zeitgeist and you're just putting it out. I'm never going to be able to, I'm not saying it's making something worse. I'm not saying it's contributing to gun violence or what have you, because it's not, right? like this goes back. It's like you can get very convoluted about like, things being a reflection of reality, et cetera, et cetera.
It seems a little detached from I think what's
That's what I'm
bit,
saying. So I'm not. I do want to be clear. I would never. I wouldn't say it's. Because I agree with you on the video games. Like that's never felt. I've never agreed with that argument. But I just mean it feeling so detached from, like Tarantino's movies, for instance. Tons of. Granted, it's interesting. He has this reputation for violent movies. There's not even that much violence in his movies when you actually count. But he uses it for like impact and for like drama.
Yeah.
And if you feel it, like, oh shit, Christoph Waltz just got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
this one seems it always was happening.
Whereas,
there's no break.
Like a movie like this where I'm like, even the James Bond flicks, you don't want James Bond to die. You don't want you're invested in emotionally and like in the action. And this movie felt like what? How can you be invested in the action?
I
like,
think
what action? I don't know.
My thoughts are it goes back to what we said yesterday. When the core of the film.
Sam also had another point that I feel like I cut it off. But anyway, go on.
No, you can go.
I was just going to say, when the core of the film is struggling, all the other weak branches are exposed. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think, like, if the core of the story was good, we might not be talking so much about how it was detached from society, because in its own little world, at least it's working.
Yeah, it makes sense in the context of just like a movie on its own. I feel like you're more like invested in it, so you don't really mind as much.
Mm-hmm.
I could buy that. Yeah. Well, what I was actually going to say is, so the interesting thing that you said, you're just like, I don't think it may not have showed anything that's relevant or whatever, but like, what do you think about the big theme that technically this is a movie about like such a shadow agency part of our government that would go to such extremes as like killing its own or having extreme collateral damage just to cover up its own secrets and dirty laundry, basically. Because like that's actually like you don't think that maybe that's a little bit more relevant during these times? There's like some slight mistrust between us, just like the regular Joe Schmoes. And
I don't think that's
like,
no. I do think that's relevant, and I hear what you're saying. I think the movie doesn't. The movie is the movie, and then they mapped that theme onto it.
Because the thing
like
is,
the theme doesn't arise from what's happening in the fucking movie, the way it's crafted, in my opinion.
Because culturally, it's interesting because
I see what you're saying.
A lot of these spy movies, right? Like if you watch all the Mission Impossibles or like a lot of them back in the day, like it's always the American agency that's having all these spies. They're like the good guys. They're the good guys. But here, really, like it's just like us versus us, And it's kind of like pivoted where suddenly it's just like actually like the people who employed us. To do this.
Yeah, it's
spy
very,
work.
it's very,
it's
cynical,
like very, it's very like shadowy, very like scary and stuff. And so like that hasn't really happened before, but suddenly, sometimes somewhere in this new century, I feel like it's transitioned to even like the Mission Impossible ones pivoted where they got like Ghost Protocol and they were just like, oh no, we're rogue now, Rogue Nation or whatever, right? They got betrayed by their own kind.
That theme, like that idea, is scary. I just don't think this movie does anything for that theme or that idea. I want to back up. I'm not already in tune with.
Okay, so that last point makes sense. Like, is it contributing more to the conversation? I don't think so. But I will say, I think Sam brings up a good point.
And that's fucked up to me because then you're bringing no value, to the table.
Yeah.
And you're contributing to culture, right? Trying to contribute to culture, and you're bringing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Though,
like
Sam pointing out, like this is about people who thought they were the good guys versus the one who are trying to take advantage of them, and so now they're trying to correct this.
Actually, I might be wrong because there are actually a good amount of movies in the '80s that I think did this as well.
For sure.
Like, what was the one? It wasn't Air Force One, was it? No, I think.
I haven't seen.
But actually, you know what? I think I'm wrong about that. Like, this has always been a theme that there's like, oh, they were the ones
we
who
thought
were supposed
they
to
were
protect
good,
us, but they're doing like some shady. I think that's actually always been.
But
maybe
like The Fugitive or something, maybe
something. Well, actually, no.
Different.
The Fugitive has like some sort of. It has like kind of that cynicism baked into it.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
I just want to point out that
shout out to Harrison Ford.
I think shout out to Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones is in that movie.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
One of the best exchanges of dialogue. I didn't do it. I don't care. Crazy. And then he just jumps into the water. It's a great moment. Anyway.
Interesting.
Point.
I'm forgetting that moment from The Fugitive, to be honest.
Yeah, so in The Fugitive, Harrison Ford is literally about to get caught by Tommy Lee Jones running through the sewers, and Tommy Lee Jones has got him in a stick-up. And Harrison Ford has to choose the stick-up. He has to choose whether to hand himself over to Jones, who's a federal agent, or jump like 80 feet into what could be shallow water.
Yeah.
And it's
trying
in the sewers?
The sewers.
So it's stinky water.
Well, they are in the sewers, but then they're jumping outside into
right.
like a runoff, into a regular river, and it's just a great moment because there's a moment where Ford is like trying to be vulnerable and negotiate and be like, I didn't do this thing, and it's great. But my point with what Sam's bringing in about this film and like the agencies versus the agencies, it does kind of kill me because a lot of this film has so much witty dialogue and so many characters.
Wait, it's not actually witty though.
What I mean
like
by witty is in some ways contemptible witty. They're trying to be clever or smart, and it
sucks
yes.
so hard.
So they're trying to have good dialogue. The characters are talking ad nauseum to each other, and my point is the directors, writers, they're setting up all these points of, we'll say, character intersections at all times, conversations, moment to moment, plot to plot. And these are happening consistently between Gosling and the agency. And for me, it should be a story then about, like, why does the agency care so much about covering this up? Why does Gosling care so much about exposing it? And from there,
you're right.
From there, it should really become a personal story between these agents. Do they have a past with each other? Why aren't they willing to give each other room for forgiveness, room for growth? But the story doesn't do that. Instead, it just turns to guns and violence, and never, like, anytime they do want to reveal something about the past, it falls back to exposition. I got to change the audio. It falls
All right,
back
so
to
we'll be
exposition.
right back with the Movie Addicts podcast. Gabe's going to finish his brilliant point.
Commercial break.
The Movie Addicts podcast.
And camera speeding.
And we're back with the Movie Addicts podcast.
Yeah, so regarding
Gabe, finish your
basically, now as we're talking through this, those are now two missed opportunities. The character arc for a prisoner without a father figure becoming a father figure, that should have been one great story for Gosling. The second one is an agency that has a personal connection with one of their most talented and skilled, we'll say, coverts, and why they are not willing to, I guess, allow why are they not leveraging their personal relationship with each other? Why does this make sense?
I think you're onto something about, like, I feel like they could have added a little bit more stakes because
they don't know. They don't know it. They don't know each other.
Like, big story. You're breaking down like big story problems.
Was that little necklace that had all like the dirt on the guy? Like, was it really that bad? Because they
That's-
fleetingly
we don't
touch on
know.
it,
We
and it was
don't
just like him
know.
shaking hands with a couple of like, what is he? He's just like selling deals and doing like contra deals or something. Like,
Yeah.
isn't that what, like the CIA?
Not
does?
only that,
I felt like it was very like, oh, that was it. That was the whole thing. It's just like this MacGuffin item.
Totally,
You
dude.
know?
yeah, it's all about the
I feel
MacGuffin.
like that's a little.
And I know I just keep chatting, and I don't want to monologue too much, but it's with the two main antagonists in the film are Carmichael, who is like the head of this division in CIA, and then the guy from the private sector who Carmichael hires to do his dirty work, which is Chris Evans. The government has to have pretense. Carmichael, the government can hire somebody in the shadows, Chris Evans, to do the fun shit. And so the two of them have some weird personal vendetta against Gosling, when the reality is, like, nobody knows each other. Why do I care? I don't. I'm just going to watch you try to kill each other.
And they do that thing where they're just like, oh, well, they really want to get each other because, like, they literally just say, like, Chris Evans' character is just like, who's this guy? Is he good? And he's like, yeah, Six is one of the best. He's like, all right, now it's a challenge or something.
Right.
They literally just say that, and suddenly it kind of like, oh, well, that's the reason why they really are at each other's throats. Like, that's literally, I think, all they give us, right?
You know what's interesting? I would even go as far to say is, like, we'll take an 80s example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly the same story, but we'll talk about stakes. We'll talk about antagonist versus protagonist. We have Die Hard, right?
Yeah.
You got Bruce Willis, and you have Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
You have Bruce Willis, who's a cop from New York, and you have a international terrorist who is from, like, some group in Germany. And when their lives collide in a tower, a corporation, they both have, like, they don't know each other whatsoever, like the Gray Man. But the difference is, throughout the film, they get to know each other. Like, they
That-
find
they do
out
do
a bit about each other little by little. Gruber, Alan Rickman, realizes that Bruce Willis's wife is in the building, and he starts leveraging that relationship.
And they don't even meet until that one great scene where he's just
No.
like, "Hey man, I'm so scared." Like they don't meet, and then they realize, and then like Alan Rickman's
Right.
like, "Hey man,"
They've
he
been
pretends to be a civilian.
It's yes, and
Yeah.
so that's like a brilliant
they-
example.
yeah.
That film of like taking two people who don't know anything about each other, really don't care, are both going to bulldoze. It's kind of like what Chris Nolan made famous, the unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Do you want to know?
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying
I
from
think that-
–
Dark Knight?
That's sort of like Hitchcockian, though. Am
Okay,
I
so-
tripping?
I think you're right.
I feel like that's kind of a Hitchcock.
So let's say
kinda
that's a
thing
Hitchcock
first,
thing. I was just
which I think
thinking
Chris
'cause-
Nolan probably was inspired by Hitchcock.
Yeah, Joker said that line at one point. That's why.
No, I think
about
you're saying
Yeah.
something that's very
If there's one
succinct and
character I
true.
do love,
Right.
I am the Joker.
So
That's-
the
No,
point
I'm
is
just
you can have those immovable object, unstoppable force intersect, but you better make it personal. Otherwise, I'm gonna check out. And in The Gray Man, I was checking out within 25-30 minutes.
Yeah, I like. God,
See,
it's
Yeah.
so. I think the Great Man. I want to just pull up the stats on the Great Man.
Great.
So-
I didn't set the timer.
The logline of the Gray Man is, when the CIA's most skilled operative, whose true identity is known to none, accidentally discovers dark agency secrets, a psychopathic former colleague puts a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins.
you know what?
Like,
Based
that's
on that log line,
Yeah.
I would think that this would be cat and mouse between him and Chris Evans. But it's not even that. Chris Evans just
No,
says,
it's not.
"Send everyone, fire everyone," and he's just, go get him. He literally just paces around the boardroom for half the movie, just saying, "Why isn't it working? Go shoot him. How hard is it to shoot him?" And I'm just like, dude, why? He should have been introduced, I think, way earlier as he's the Force. Ryan Gosling is always on the run, and I don't know,
Yeah.
but then I guess you can't get your whole John Wick type of just literally Ryan Gosling has to shoot his way through 200 people before he gets to the final boss, I guess. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I think you're right. And so it's directed by Anthony Russo, Joe Russo, screenplay by Joe Russo, and Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. Those are the main credited writers. I'm trying to see who else worked on this. Oh, based on the book by Mark Greaney. So. Yeah, I mean, it currently has a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb with 115,000 ratings.
What's the Google? Can you look up the Google users?
Yeah.
Because I feel like IMDb is better than Rotten Tomatoes, but Google's a better metric for Joe Schmo walking into the theaters, whether or not they liked it.
Because I think this is a movie that Joe Schmo would like.
Hold on, wait, how do I fucking
Because the
find that?
themes aren't so
Wait, this
deep
is
that they're
wild.
just accessible. They could just watch it and be like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got it. It makes sense. There's a daughter who's got to save the daughter. There's a bad
Right.
guy." you
The
gotta
audience
save the
rating, Gabe, for this is 4.1.
Out of 5 or 10?
Well, but that's what Google reviews.
Yeah, out of 5.
Huh.
Look
okay,
up-
and
look
then
up
what
the
are
Rotten
the other 3
Tomatoes.
reviews? Scroll up
Oh, okay.
real quick. Those 3 right there. What are those 3?
Yeah.
So then, IMDb is 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 46%.
Shouldn't
Metacritic
even
is
be that high.
51%.
No, I think that's actually pretty fair. I think that's pretty when it's half and half, pretty polarizing. I think this is that kind of movie.
I'm sorry, guys. I loved
Yeah.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs from 2010, and that film got below a 30%.
That's
and
fucked
I think
up.
that film's better than this film.
Well,
I think it's so interesting, what
Well,
makes it's
wow.
so it's so
justice.
crazy, right? Because
No
we were out here we saw Nope and we were kind of fired up about Nope and had sort of negative feelings about it at first. Then we talk about it and we go, "Fuck, this thing's really
Incredible
powerful,
craft.
really incredible." And then, but that you look at the Google ratings for that shit and it's it's the low as shit.
Google
And then
it
you
real
look at
quick.
the Google
What are
ratings
no
for this
Google
and it's
ratings?
high. That doesn't what does that mean? I don't really know. I'm very puzzled right now.
yeah.
What do you think that means, Sam?
What the
What do you make of that? What do you make of the full picture of 6.5 on IMDb, which feels
I think
generous.
that's a middling.
46% Rotten Tomatoes, which I agree with. 51% Metacritic, I would say roughly.
So
agree with that, too.
46% of critics on Rotten Tomatoes give it less than 6 out of 10, which meant half of them gave it a pretty negative score, which half of them probably gave it a barely passing or to a positive good score. I think that's that's actually what I would expect from the market. I think this is
Okay.
exactly the movie that is designed. It's let's get mass appeal, fast food. Because the reasons why we're complaining about it is like we wish we could get a little bit more of the themes developed, maybe like a stronger core story. But the thing is, I don't think you necessarily need those kinds of things just to like have some random like my dad just tune in, click it on Netflix, and watch it and be like, oh, I get it. Like the story makes sense to me. Like guy just got to go, he's got to shoot, he's got to run.
That was
There's
okay.
some stakes. He's taking hostages, right? He's got to do it. So like that to me makes sense, and I think it's a very good spectacle, and actually I kind of like the way it looks. I do like how it looks, but like it's a spectacle movie, and I think those ratings are what I would expect. I'm not surprised by seeing 46% Rotten Tomatoes or even 6.5 on IMDb. I actually think that's pretty accurate to like.
I one of the first things that occurred to me as I was watching this movie,
because like that's not high.
Is this thing was designed for people to watch and not pay attention and still understand what's going on. That's what it was designed for. It was designed for people to be on Netflix, it's playing in the background, or they're on their phone, or
like
they're
if
on
you
their
don't
laptop
question
and they're
it,
watching. Exactly.
Yeah, I think
because it doesn't hold up under any amount of scrutiny. So we're watching it through a lens of like, what's this all about? We're gonna poke and prod it, and like a lot of people aren't, and so it's gonna get like like Netflix is banking on. Netflix is bankrolling it like for that reason. They're banking on whatever the business proposition is.
This concept by you, but I feel like the more you say it, the more I'm like, there's a lot of people who just press play.
Wait, why were you resistant to it?
Because I really don't like the idea that a studio would make that knowing that that's a thing.
Oh, I think it's just to me like what I'm saying is I don't even know.
You know what's interesting? Oh,
to me what I'm saying is this is gonna sound like Eric. To me when I say that I really think of it as like. I think of very many of my opinions as like fact. I think of that as like almost fact.
But you know why that's
I'm like
possible?
you would what?
It's because we live in a time of streaming. This film would never exist the way it is right now if it had a theatrical release.
That's true.
I think it would have been made for far less money. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's absolutely positively true.
That's really upsetting to me now, thinking that this is what I was getting at yesterday. Streaming videos are becoming direct to video from the 90s.
Yeah, man, and yeah, absolutely. And Sam, I thought you brought like kind of some interesting nuance to that because I agree with you, Gabe, and I get very like fervent about this, but I thought Sam brought some good nuance yesterday to like the conversation about Netflix's overall creative output.
Yeah.
And do you want to like talk about that?
I'll try to
it's kind of interesting.
So basically, like, if you look actually at the amount, like when Netflix first started, right, they had a transition from a mail order video rental service into saying like, you know what? I want to start making the movie studio sweat. I want to start making my own stuff. Everyone laughed them out of the boardroom. They didn't think they had what it took. But literally, since
some people didn't think they were going to overtake Blockbuster.
Yeah,
right.
People were literally just like people want to go to the video
Blockbusters
store and look at the book. Yeah, what's MySpace, right? Stuff like that. Basically, like Netflix was like the Facebook of social media. Came on and said like, well, what if we did it this way?
Totally.
So it's interesting because like if you look at a movie like this, like what. In the grand context of why a service like Netflix exists, like, should this be happening? Why is this happening, right? And so when Netflix came up, if you look at their entire catalog, it's like they have a lot of originals. Like, they have been putting out, I want to say, if you just look at any typical, like, a movie studio, right, in like the high-profile mainstream, or even, like, the more, like, independent, like, smaller budget ones, like, I don't think anyone has been making as much stuff as Netflix. I really don't. I think maybe Disney Plus is giving them a good run for its money right now because Disney has a lot of quality control and they have the funds to literally say, like, greenlight 10 series and they're going to be pretty high budget, right?
Yeah.
But Netflix literally, like, and what's impressive is actually it kind of worked because how many movies that came out from Netflix are actually kind of worth their salt. They got a lot of buzz.
We kind of pulled up a list yesterday and there's some good ones on
like,
there. Roma, which I love.
Yeah, in a career of, 10 years?
Yeah.
So, like I think it was since like 2011, 2012, right when I like transitioned out of high school and like started becoming an adult. I think that's when people started saying like, oh, like, this is not a real movie. They shouldn't be allowed in the Academy Awards, like whatever. But they started like making out bangers. Like Beast of No Nation was there. Roma's a great one.
Roma's great,
incredibly well. There's a
Shout
lot
out to
of
Alfonso
stuff out there.
Cuarón.
I know you don't Look Up, but like that was a recent one. I'm trying to think of like the older ones that did well.
Here's the thing about Don't Look Up. I want to give Don't Look Up some like love in this conversation because Don't Look Up is at least trying to do something ambitious. I don't think it succeeds per se. I think what I find like unsettling about The Gray Man is it feels like it's not trying to do anything. It's so inoffensive that I'm like deeply offended.
Yeah. Because I think Don't Look Up.
I'm like deeply, I'm like insulted, offended, like what the fuck is this? Like I think Layla said yesterday. I'm going to attribute this quote to her. I mean, it's for like, it feels like, I was like, this movie feels like it could be for kids, but it's not for kids because of the content, clearly. But it feels like it's for adults with low intelligence. And I was like, oof. That one, I mean, that shit felt true as shit to me, though. Like, I didn't even, Layla just kind of threw that out there. I was like, fuck. That's kind of fucking true, though.
Well, I think it goes along
and that's like I find that like almost disturbing because, and it makes, I think I said to you in the kitchen this morning, it makes me feel like Jordan Peele is like a hero of mythological proportions because this man takes his third feature film and makes a film like Nope that really has you examining yourself. You're looking inward. You're going, damn, oh my, you know what I mean? Forget about, because we were kind of hating on the ending at first, but you're looking, it's giving you something to take into your life. The Gray Man, I mean, I what I took into my life is that I was considering wrapping it up for the day and going to sleep. Because I was like, this day might be, like, the day might be ruined.
Yeah, it was literally
like
noon, and I felt terrible.
And luckily I turned it around, obviously, you know what I mean? Did some push-ups and shit.
I did not.
Wrote a little bit. You know, I was able to get myself spiritually fulfilled again. But geez Louise, I was bummed after watching this fucking thing. But Sam, I'm sorry. Sam's making a great point that I love, and it's super nuanced. Keep going about like their output. I think it's really smart.
Because like you have to like consider like nowadays, like what is the kind of movie that it gets greenlit and says, okay, we want to do a theatrical run with this versus what gets put directly to the streaming service, right? And so it's funny because like I feel like The Gray Man it's trying to be like those old blockbusters that hit the summer, the summer theatrical run. It's like, dude, it's got your favorite actors, it's got a lot of action. You got to watch it in theaters, right? But instead, it was just like this really expensive thing that went onto a streaming service. And you bring up Nope because like I feel like a movie like Nope, there's no way in hell that like, I mean, obviously it's Jordan Peele and he has a track record, so obviously it did well and like people went to the theaters to see it. But less and less, I think those types of movies where it's like a highly original or like very like a unique voice type of script, they say, here, take this $25 million or like $50 million and let's do a theatrical run. I think more and more of those types of movies go straight to streaming because I think it's just like this strange thing because people are like hedging such a weird bet now where they only want to make the big franchise movies that go to theaters. Like Marvel. Like there's a reason why.
Who's they? Explain who they is.
I guess it's like, just like,
Disney,
wants to make,
call it, not even Disney actually, that's not fair. Like
anyone
call
wants
it
to
Warner
finance
Brothers, call
a movie,
it,
I think, yeah.
What? Call it Warner Brothers, Universal.
Yeah, I would just say like the major studio system, which is like this, ambiguously, mythological entity that people just keep throwing around. But, it's weird because I guess the point that I'm trying to say is Netflix, for some reason, thrived on taking a bunch of original scripts. They were just like, what is this? This is like an interesting concept, whatever. They threw money at it and they said, we do this not for a theatrical run, but we want to like literally build our platform. And I guess, I don't know, like, the money-wise, like, how that could exist. Right. But literally all their movies were made with the intent of saying, like, we need to let the filmmaker who wants to make this story just make it. Which is why people like David Fincher came on. And, like, like Mindhunter, Love, Death, and Robots. True, but, like, all those, like...
And I liked Mank. I liked Mank.
And, like, Mank, too, yeah. But, like, consider all the movies that were, like, huge in the awards circuit or, like, in the film festival circuit that came from Netflix. And, like, they're very... unique little like it's a story about Mank. It's like the guy who was writing the Citizen Kane story. It's not like it's a superhero, like generic superhero.
You literally Mank would not get released theatrically.
Yeah, it's like so strange but that's like their
just a
whole
straight
brand,
up theatrical. Like no way.
Yeah, and then they come along and I guess like they make this 200 thing. But it's overall still really impressive. You just look at their track record of just like the amount of content that they made in a 10-year span, very impressive. But also the amount of movies that came and got like buzz from that pool. I'm not even talking about TV shows. I'm just talking about like this is just narrative feature films, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, it like puts a lot of the other major studios to shame. And it's actually something that Amazon is trying to do. Like Amazon, because they have so much money from the tech side of things, they're just like, listen, we need to build our platform even if it comes out. It's just a necessary cost.
Yeah.
So like take this money, make the script because no major studio is going to give you the money to make that movie and then try to theatrical run. It's like not going to happen. And I get so why do we talk about this again? I don't know. I guess it's
I just think it's interesting. You were just adding some nuance to. You're trying to go big. You were trying to zoom out and go big picture and just think about Netflix's overall output.
Yeah.
Because you can go, they put out some poopy ones, which they do, and they have, and they continue to.
It,
But they've also put out some good shit. So that
Yeah.
you need both
Like,
sides of the coin.
why would anyone make The Irishman? I mean, like, obviously,
The Irishman
because
slaps,
it's a good
dude.
movie.
I fucking
But the
love
thing
that
is, like, if you look at it, it's just like, this is a $150+ million movie that will not really have a huge theatrical run.
And
that is
to their
seriously
credit, they promoted the shit out of that.
yeah,
movie.
and it did really well. Like,
Yeah.
people, I mean, I love it, and like it.
Oh, that
left
movie's
kind
sad
of
as
a
shit,
foot-
but yeah, I love it.
it
I love
left
it.
the footprint, you know. I don't know, but like, what does that mean for things like The Gray Man? And the thing is, they're making a sequel because I think they want to turn this into their franchise. Like, they're trying to franchise
Yeah.
this whole thing. They're making a sequel, which, by the way, the Tamil Indian hitman is returning in that one, which I felt like he was like the most out of place. He was just like some guy who just shows up in
that's
the
so
movie.
funny.
And
Yeah.
then he says like, "These guys aren't honorable," and then he just dips.
Dude, but
It
I'm
was, like,
telling
the
you,
strangest
did you
Deus
look?
Ex
Did you do
Machina.
research on that guy?
No.
I bet you he's in. I think you said something to this effect.
Oh, yeah,
I bet you he's in Bollywood stuff.
He's
Probably in he's in recognizable face in
International,
Indian
yeah.
cinema, and that's why Netflix is like, let's get him. Like let's
which
let's,
is like a really obvious like political move. I think it's like
no, but it is
yeah.
fascinating.
I would say
It is fascinating.
It's not necessarily political, but it's definitely
business move.
It's a business
That's what
move
I'm saying,
because
yeah.
they're constantly expanding.
Yeah.
They're trying to expand international markets because the domestic
They're just
market
like,
has
we need an
flatlined.
international.
I'm not hating on, and I'm not hating on like savvy business moves either. I think it's a little unsettling to me to put something out and promote the hell out of it when it's that hollow. And so I like even that actor like who I'm suspecting is a recognizable face for people who watch Indian cinema like
Hot. The frogs are cooking.
The frogs
frogs are cooking. But listen, I respect. I think that's a smart move. I get the move.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on that. Smart business moves. It's like, but if you're gonna make a bunch of smart business moves, this is why I got really excited about. I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of down to wrap up the conversation with the Gray Man.
Yeah.
Very quick, soon.
I think yeah.
But I read the reason I got excited about the Gray Man is because I read a Hollywood Reporter article interview with the Russo brothers, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, these guys are really smart and not as familiar with their work. And then I see this and it's just poopy and kind of a bummer. I still think I still think the things they said in the article were really valuable to read, and they are really smart guys. But damn, yeah, this lacked kind of any sort of taste or anything that's good.
I mean, it's strange because like I really like what they did with Winter Soldier and also what they did with Marvel. But I'm almost wondering like if it's because the core soul of those movies were just like it was focused on the heroes and like so we're kind of familiar with it. But also it's like it's a really like good opportunity to like flesh it out and add some of like their stakes and like their personality in it. Whereas like this one was you really swapped out the superheroes with the Marvel franchises with just like a pretty I would say generic spy stand-in. And then when you try to do the same approach, it kind of falls a little bit flat. Even though it's still like a spectacle to look at and it's pretty fun. But it kind of lacks that core component.
You know
That's
what's
my
funny? Here's
yeah.
what
Yeah,
you said right now really gives me insight as to why Marvel films are unappealing to people who don't care about the comic book characters and don't know what's happening in the story. Because the Gray Man is literally, I'm saying cool dialogue, I'm responding with cool dialogue, something blows up.
Yeah.
And when I don't know who the people are and when the dialogue isn't well written, it's no fun. But when I know the hero, I know their predecessor films, and when their dialogue is written specific to their powers, their personality, and I know that personality, I'm on board. Even though, literally, within the first 5 minutes, the entire thing is just a spectacle for 2 hours. It doesn't work in this film.
Yeah.
But it definitely worked when they did, you said The Winter Soldier?
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
They also did Infinity War and
Yeah,
Endgame,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It
Well, I
works
think-
then. It
yeah.
really works. But in this case, it's struggling. It really is struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, anything else you guys want to say?
Is there any value to maybe bringing up Sam's thoughts on Extraction?
You don't have to say it. I mean, you guys didn't really watch it. But I mean, I
watched
yeah.
I watched like 5 minutes.
You know, you left and you said like, I don't think I'm gonna like it if I watch it. I could see that, but I think you would hate it less than this one because I think to its merit, I think Extraction accomplishes a little.
I
bit
mean,
of
I
what,
could already tell that I was gonna hate it
Yeah.
less than.
I think Extraction though accomplishes a little bit of what this movie wants to do, but does it in a slightly tighter package.
It's so much more visually driven as well. Like, even
Yeah.
those first 20 minutes that we watched, oh my goodness, less cuts, more focus on the characters.
that was another
room
thing.
the
to
directing,
act.
the directing was just stronger.
This movie, the thing
Overall,
about Gray Man that
what
I
I could
noticed a
see.
lot too is like everything had to be fast paced, and I was almost getting like overstimulated. Like there was a scene where they're just in the boardroom, and it's a little bit of like a tense shout match, But while they were talking and just having this normal coverage scene, the camera just kept like sliding, and I was like, dude, they're just like standing still and talking. Like literally, the camera always had to be moving and sliding, and it was like such fast cutting back and forth that I was like, oh god, that's one way to inject a little bit of action-y, even like. I feel like there's nothing wrong though, because like when you have a 2.5 hour long like action thrill ride, sometimes you have to have those breaks so that like it gives a little bit of a build up and like the lulls. It's like horror movies, like you can't just have straight up jump scares for 2 hours straight. That makes no sense. But this one, like even when they just had those breaks, everyone still had to talk so fast. They had to cut so fast. The camera had to like slide and move and stuff. And I was just like, wow, there really isn't like any opportunity for a break, which is maybe why you kind of get a little numb or after you see the 150th person getting shot and falling down, you're kind of like, oh, it's like the same, like, cut, fall, shoot, gunshot, the guy falls, cut back to the guy, he moves on. It's like almost, not repetitive, but it's just, I'm like, oh, yeah. I've seen
I'm all for great pacing in a movie, too, but that's not, great pacing can't save something that doesn't work on the page.
Yeah. Right.
But that's my basically final wrap up on, like, how what I'd walk away from this movie.
All right, so that's Gabe. Anything else?
What do we think it is, boys? Is it a cock-up or is it a lock-up?
I mean, it's certainly not a lock-up for me. I think it's a little bit of like it's a cock-up, It's like a begrudging, like, I wish it were, I liked it more kind of cock-up.
It was a cock-up for me.
Yeah. Absolute cock-up.
That's 3 cock-ups for
Maybe
you.
the sequel's better, though. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe
I'm not going to
really bring it.
I'm out.
$400 million.
Your product stinks. You're a bozo. For that reason, I'm out.
I just don't feel inspired to give it a chance.
I felt so little inspiration that I considered quitting filmmaking.
It's just if that's the bar they're going to set for the first, how can I trust anything's going to get better for the second?
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan Gosling, though. I really love Ryan Gosling. And we'll take a little break.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with the Movie Addicts podcast. And
great. You want to pause?
Yes,
we're going to
please.
keep audio running?
I think I might pause it, actually.
Bathroom break?
Yeah, I need a bathroom
All right,
break.
boys and girls. We're going to pause. 3,
We'll be back.
2, 1.
Back with the Movie Addicts podcast. Shout out to the Movie Addicts podcast, man. We just took a little break.
Yeah, after we decided that the Gray Man is a complete and unmitigated cock-up.
Well, we kind of did our stick-up here. We kind of got to know. We got with Sam, kind of, introduced the people to Sam, and so we're heading on into the Rush Up, aka the Big Bitch Pitch Session. The Big Bitch Pitch Session. That's right, folks. Gabe and I each, 60 seconds to pitch a real idea, and then
Brainstorm
3 minutes to pitch our real idea after that. The real idea.
The one that we can actually make money off of.
The one that's actually real and that definitely isn't improvised over the course of 3 minutes.
We would never
That
do
one.
That.
You know that one. You know that project that's just, you don't even know what it is, but you're just sitting there and
Just
you're spinning the yarn, and
everybody loves it.
everyone, the
time.
executives are like, holy shit. Woody
that
Planks,
down,
Beverly
write that
Hills
down.
Taxi Driver.
Write that down.
I'm in. Beverly Hills Taxi Driver? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm in. 50 million.
What was it? Woody Planks?
Woody Planks, one of the. Jeez Louise. And
Throwback to Woody
Smoking Hot Man as well.
That's right.
Coming to theaters.
Too many bags. Next spring.
Too many bags, dude. Wait, I forgot about Too Many Bags.
Like
Wait,
too many
what?
cups. You know that one? Oh, I haven't been holding the microphone near my mouth this whole time.
No,
Oh my
it's
god, it could be echoey.
Get your shit together.
Oh my god.
Come on, Sam.
I'm
I'm just pulling up one of my.
Yeah, I'm
ideas,
looking for an idea here. This is tough.
Oh, because you came prepared.
No, I was prepared. Should I read off my tattoo ideas? Just kidding. I might have made that joke already.
This might be fun.
Wait.
I remember this. Yeah.
It is
you know what?
so
Hey, how about
hot.
this, Dale? If
Speaking
you
of
have-
smoking hot, man, it's smoking hot.
for today for Gray Man, if you got it, do you want to pitch like fun franchise films? If you got one of those,
Sure.
cool. I'm just thinking of one that I thought would be pretty cool.
Oh, you want to do? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So wait, pitch your thing, and I'm gonna listen and keep searching. Go for. So I'm gonna give you.
This is more of a this is good for a pitch / premise. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So long story short, in a world
Okay.
where the MTA, the Metro Transit Authority in New York City, is
Yeah.
taken for granted, trains are always behind and subways are filthy.
Wait, that's just real life.
Wait, keep going.
The truth is, there's a special elite team of MTA workers that train to defend New York City
Oh my God!
Oh, shit, dude.
from the mole people.
Oh, this one's going to be a hit. Wait, what?
Next time your train is delayed, understand it may not
Stop
be
it
a
with this
signaling
one.
issue. It may be a battle between the mole people and the MTA.
Dude,
Get
I
the
can
fuck
I can
outta
see
here,
that
Gabe.
trailer. It's just like, hey, see you tomorrow, Jimmy. He like locks
Troma?
up.
Wait, where's
walks
Troma
over.
Entertainment when
Yeah,
you
I know,
need him?
dude.
Get him on
I
the
know.
How
horn.
fucking fun would that be?
There's just like like
Just think about it. Anytime you've been on the
my
subway in
God.
New York City, it gets loud. It gets fucking shaky. You look out the window. There's electricity happening.
That's
in the
a
side
yeah,
rails.
that's like the trailer.
Why
It's just
why
like,
is the
you know.
electricity happening
Oh
because they're
my
having fucking
God.
lightsaber battles or electric.
You
shock.
pitched that, by the way, in under 60 seconds. That was impressive.
That was
it pitched
impressive.
itself.
Thank you.
I mean, I even know what the trailer's
Holy
like. It's like
shit.
it start like there's like a little girl reading her book, like going to
you
school.
smell something
She's
burning?
in.
The place is burning down right now.
I think it's
Little-
the
little
frogs.
fire.
I think the
That thing
frogs
was
are getting
smoking
cooked
hot,
right now.
baby.
Let's go.
Oh,
son.
I give that my
shit, that was good.
certified smoking hot, dude.
Let's go.
Now I'm like, I want to bring my A game here. I'm getting smoked.
Let's
Yeah.
go, son.
That
Let's
thing
go.
MTA.
was piping hot.
But like the
Jeez.
heroes, they're just like your most Joe Schmo like average. It's like the Jerry Seinfeld bit about like the TSA, like the first line of defense is like the heavyset woman with like the zipper that's like slightly like it's like clinging on for dear life.
Well, the hope would be, in my opinion, is sure
I got a
dramedy,
good one
but
for
think
you.
think we're talking big. Like think like Star Wars. The first one is we have a hero's journey. This guy down on his luck needs a job, gets wrapped up like just cleaning up in the sewers. Not
Oh
the
yeah,
sewers,
so like
an MTA.
there's got to be a new guy at
Exactly.
the MTA.
He's the new guy.
He's the new guy.
And
he does like the
doesn't-
midnight shift for
Absolutely.
the train, the L train
I
or
would even
something.
go as far as to say is he starts on the daytime shift, and everyone's like, "Good, yeah, stay in the daytime. Midnight's kind of tough." And then there's an opening, and they're like, "Sorry, bud, we got to bump you to the ghost yard shift." And he's like, "Cool, that's not a big deal."
The setup for this is so simple and great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then I guess eventually one day he's on, and he's like, "Why is the train stopping?"
Dude, I'm thinking like 90 minutes powerhouse of a pulpy, like kind of. Because this is, you're not talking series here. You're talking movie.
I'm saying an individual
Franchise,
movie
though.
that can be turned
Sure.
into like
Sure.
sequel.
sounds like
I'm
a
talking
TV
90
show.
minute just
Yeah.
barn
This sounds like
burner.
a TV show.
It does
in my
sound, it has
opinion.
TV kind of written
Hey,
all over
I'm
it.
open to it. It would just be so much fun. You can hit so many landmarks in New York
It's
City.
impossible
It
to
would-
shout in New York, especially in the subway, though.
Yeah,
You
you'd
can't
figure
shoot in
it
the
out.
subway.
You'd figure it out. You'd have to find a way to build a. You know what to do? You do all the subway sequences on Studio Lot, but then all the above ground would obviously be
Yeah.
like a globetrot of New York City. Like
Yeah.
every different. I'm telling you. And the great thing about New York City, this is why I think it really works. Is on the one hand, nail the hero's journey, personal relationships, all that good stuff. On the other hand, special effects, all happening like dark at night. We could include a little sci-fi, some like lightning bolt and shit.
You're not
but
allergic to peanut butter, are you?
I am, but you could eat it around me.
oh, are you sure? So as long as it doesn't
Why,
come in
I have
contact
this like
with
sense.
you.
Why do you sense that he's allergic to peanut
I
butter?
am.
I didn't sense it, but if you sense it, sorry, Sam.
No, it's okay.
You're good.
Like, what is it? Is it ingestion?
Yeah, like I have to eat it. No, you're totally
Okay,
fine.
great.
Yeah. I'm not like super
Thank you for
sensitive.
telling
Sorry,
me.
sorry.
A little bit of a detour during
That's
that.
so funny that I
like-
had that instinct and I was
I'm glad
right.
you pointed that out.
Yeah.
So
Because I was like, wait a minute. Anyway, sorry.
And then the other part, which I think would be really important, is like how often do we get New York City films that show off every corner of New York City? Dale, for somebody who hasn't
And you want to show the
lived-
grimy corner.
for someone who hasn't lived in New York City, the New York subway system has incredible.
I've been on the
things
subway
about it.
system,
I-
like,
I'm gonna
fair
just
enough
run
amount,
off a
though, to
couple
understand.
things that I love about the New York subway system, which I think is fascinating. Number one, New York subway system did not start as a unified rail system. It was owned by like 3 to 5 different companies that over the years had their own priorities, brought different neighborhoods together, and eventually were unified under the same house.
It's like the warring states of China.
Sure.
Emperor
And they
Qin
expanded
came
different
along.
ways. There used to be tons of L trains, and then they were brought below ground. You could also there used to be a train that went directly, supposedly, from D.C. to New York City for the president straight into Grand Central.
Yeah, that's what. Because you know what I was gonna say. There's opportunity here. Because like you could explore all like, oh, this is like
That's
the old
interesting.
station.
There's abandoned stations.
And the thing is, you know about like the actual. I mean, they're not called mole people, I think, but like
No,
they were like there was actually a whole shanty town,
Commons, yes.
a shanty town of like homeless
Wow.
people who just lived like underground.
In the
There's actually
depths.
it's called
Wow.
Dark City or Dark Town, I think, because they lived underground, barely any light, and there was a black and white documentary where like a guy and they gave cameras and taught some of them how to shoot it so that they could record themselves doing their daily lives, and like it's incredible because like that's an opportunity. Like maybe they're there and they're their whole town, but maybe they also help. The good guys are just like, oh yeah, we keep our eyes. There's been a lot of stuff going along. And there's like, hey
Like,
man,
if it was up to me-
news from the underground, you know, and there's like, and they're like the insider information, like the network, dude.
The network,
man.
exactly. And New
Yeah,
York
yeah.
City is so sprawling. There's just so much rich history there above and below ground. I would love, in a perfect world, Matt Vaughn, come on. Matthew Vaughn did The Kingsman. I would love to do like a modern little trilogy, and then like how the MTA Mole People division started in like the early 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, then there's like an opportunity. It's just like,
yeah.
son,
Oh,
you no
shit,
longer
good
work for
shit.
the MTA. You now work for the MTA. And it's like, what the fuck is that? It's like the mole something.
Transit Authority.
Yeah, the mole transit authority. You know, it's like
Gabe, this is
it's
probably
so
your
cute.
best. I think that I said you had your best last time. I think, right? Didn't I say
Maybe.
that's what your
I
best?
don't know.
But this is probably your best. This
Fun,
this thing
right?
could be an absolute smash.
I need those action sequences, Kingsman style, underground. above
Fights
ground.
on a train.
Oh my goodness.
Fights on a subway
yes.
train.
Between trains flying by. Also, how many great
Wow, yeah.
like above ground, below ground shots as you're like moving past Coney Island and swinging back.
You
Yeah.
could get
A mole person.
Could get a really You could get a really great. I think like a young, fresh director. I'm literally not about to team myself up here. I don't think I would direct a thing like this. I'm saying you could get a really young, fresh director to direct this thing too and make it kick ass. Like you find a kid like I'm thinking of this kid I went to film school with at USC who's so talented, and I feel like this is the kind of thing he would do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like you get the right kind of young, hungry director to like do it cheap. Oh man,
Hell
it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
This is not a cheap movie though. This is a New York movie. And whoo, New
Yeah.
York.
So you know what? Cheap. I mean cheap.
$50,000. That's all.
No. Well, like obviously it would be more than that, but I meant cheap in like the very relative sense of like between
It'd be like $1 million an episode.
$3 and $10
basically.
million.
I mean, hey, if that was possible, just do as many practicals as possible with the occasional special.
You need the shot of like the mole. He busts out of the manhole comes
I think
up.
this
He's
has
in
commercial.
Times Square.
Wait, I
that
think this
would
has
be
commercial
nuts.
potential though.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not like $3 to $10 million on an art house flick. It's like $3 to $10 million on a thing that like you could. This shit could go global.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this shit. Like it feels there's something here.
This is like Men in Black type.
Totally.
It is.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yes.
It's like, you know.
dude, Men in Black slaps.
Yeah, I would
The
love.
OG, like the original.
It's just like, and then there's like, all right, you know, because like the veteran takes them home or something, and then maybe they go to Grand Central Station, but it's like a station underneath the actual thing for the Mole Transit Authority.
It's also a great thing where like any film I love, any
That's
film
awesome.
that causes the viewer to look more closely at something that is a part of their lives. For instance, a big favorite film of mine, similar to this concept in terms of like reframing real life. National Treasure. National Treasure. For better or for worse, you could say what you think about Nick Cage or
Lemon
the
juice
story.
on the Declaration of
Wait.
Independence.
Nick Cage. Speaking of like output that sort of outweighs the good outweighs the bad. I think that's
Yeah.
Nick Cage's career. Like
Oh yeah, especially
overall,
recently. Yeah.
really good actor. Mm-hmm. And he's delivered more good ones than bad ones.
That's the thing. He'll also do your movie. I mean, his dare is a little bit beefy compared to like other people like Eric Roberts or whatever. But like, literally, you know, Nick Cage could be the the lead veteran who brings on the rookie for MTV.
He does
radar
projects with
engineer.
he does projects with new people especially, and really takes risks on those like Pig. I don't know if you guys ever saw Pig, but
I haven't, but I've heard great
I think it was
things.
a first time director, and Nick Cage is just in there doing his thing
Right.
and not phoning it in, none of that. Like he's in there doing his thing. I really like that movie. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I would just love to see, like, again, reframing things. Like, you walk around Grand Central and you see the clock, right?
Yeah.
And you find out the final end of the film. This is kind of cliche. There's a better version of this. But the end of the film, like, the Battle of the Grand Central, and you find out that clock transforms into some crazy weapon against the mole people. But more specifically, like, while you're riding in the subway, they're looking for, like, you know, the old cliche of you walk into the spy, not dungeon, like secret institution or whatever, right? And like the wall slides out and the guns come out. What if you're inside a train and like the map slides open?
By the way, the mole people could be such great characters too. You could really have some really nuanced, really great characters.
Yeah.
Who are some of the mole people? Like, because it's like I just finished watching Blackbird, which I can't stop talking about. That thing kicks so much ass, and it's about a real guy. You know, Larry Hall, who's like a real serial killer, is like a real character in it, played by Paul Walter Hauser. And I thought in the writing, it was so interesting to me because it was the first time I've ever seen a serial killer character that I truly, really empathized with. Like, developed like real through the writing and his Paul Walter Hauser's performance and things. Like, you're able to simultaneously understand this guy did awful, horrible things, but you still have empathy for him.
Right.
And not in like a Ted Bundy not like in a like these movies that have tried to, you know, help you empathize with Ted Bundy, where you still go, you still feel detached because it's like it's so horrific. Yeah. There's something about the way this movie, like the way this show, like, really gives you that opportunity, gives this character that opportunity for empathy, and it's really powerful. I just think you could, the mole people, it feels like there's like
Society's forgotten.
You know, I was gonna say there's an opportunity, like maybe like, you know, when the people first arrived in Manhattan, like way back in the day or whatever, or like, you know how Battery Park was like built on, they just like put earth there.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, like maybe like it's just like, oh, like, you know, they were just like building tunnels underground and they shifted a lot of earth, and that was Battery Park.
I think it'd be sick again.
It's like
total
this weird,
cliche, but something like this where like we find out towards the end of the film that like
the Holland Tunnel was built by mole people. And then they just came in, they're just like, this is a tunnel we could put cars in or something. Right. And there's like a huge government involvement or something. Like, all the tunnels were built by.
Conspiracy. The tunnels were already there under the river.
This thing's smoking hot.
Oh my goodness. I mean, again, cliche, but like
no one can take this from
if we find out the mayor was like secretly
in cahoots, or I don't know.
No, I was gonna say he's a mole person, but he found a way.
So what is a mole person? Is it like
the mole person can be one of two things?
You know,
one, it's Men in Black style, where there's some kind of weird, you know, anthropomorphic humanoid, and they've been around long before, given New York City problems for centuries, right? Mm-hmm. The other version, which might be a little bit more grounded and realistic, is it's society's forgotten. Those who feel that there's value in either A, anarchy, because they're tired of the municipal government of New York City oppressing those left behind with, I mean, honestly, you could have hordes of like veterans left behind, people struggling with mental health, people who are
drug addicts.
Fell behind with they just low economic. Like, I think that would be the more present societal. Like, that leaves room for social commentary,
and it feels right. It feels like you.
But I was gonna ask like how they look. You know, how do they look? Because like I think there's like that.
It might be great if they have a suit the entire film to protect themselves from like the depths in the dark.
The sun, maybe they're allergic to the sun, kind of like Scooby-Doo.
Something like that.
Scooby-Doo 1.
Is, like, we don't see their face till later in the film, maybe, and then it's like, oh, these people are human.
Because like I kind of like the mole thing, because you know, like they have like the little star puffy red nose, and it's really cute, and they're kind of blind and they have the whiskers. I mean, that's a real mole.
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
Oh, that would be sick.
You're trying to maintain the integrity of the mole.
Of a mole. That's the thing. I don't know where you want to take the vision of the mole.
What if the mole people, because they've lived underground for so long, they lose the ability to see because they don't need to, or B, and this is where it gets a little frickin' culty. In order to be a part of the group, you have to give up your ability to see. Like, they purposely blind each other, and then they learn the art of action.
That's crazy.
Hearing. Action by hearing. Like, I could imagine, like, a crazy, again, this is like sci-fi. I don't know how this fits, but you have...
Is this live action or animated?
Live action.
I think it's going to be live action. But I was actually,
But I'm imagining, like, if there was, like, a sci-fi mole person weapon, we'll say the bad version's a lightsaber. You got the mole person with their weapon versus the MTA engineer, and they're battling on top of the subway in the dark, and the mole person just cannot see, but he's like a frickin' Jedi. Like, he can move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like they have the advantage down. Yeah, they have the advantage downstairs.
Right.
I was gonna say like this just popped in my mind, but like the whole framework that kickstarts the whole thing, maybe like they've been keeping to themselves, and like it's like, you know, there's been a quote unquote an agreement, like there's a peace thing, but it's kind of like Men in Black, where like suddenly the aliens are acting up. So here, like maybe like the first scene of the whole thing is like a mole person bursts out of a manhole in Times Square. Everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck? He like causes a commotion, runs through, tries to escape. Maybe like it like runs in front of a truck, gets completely plastered. The agency bureau comes in, it's like something's up. And that's what happens. Like they go investigate, and something is going on downstairs. Maybe there's like some weird thing, like a new enemy, a little internal thing, a bigger bad. And then suddenly the MTA, which so far has been keeping them like just like keep them out of sight, keep them contained, or like keep them happy, now has to be like, we have to step in, figure out what's going on. And now there's different sides. Maybe like, I don't know. All I know is just like there really has to be the shot of a mole person busts out of a manhole in Times Square. Chaos ensues. That has to be like, it's just like the classic, you know, like
I support.
You know, like, you know,
there's
over
genre aspects
you know?
of this that you really would have to pay attention to and really give the people what they want.
Yeah, I want
to a certain extent with this one. It feels like
I would like to.
I want to see
give the people what they want, and then you got to give them something, whatever the fresh thing is, right? Like
I want to see a mole person fall in love with the lead character.
Done.
Helps him out, but tragically dies. Maybe
some romance.
Sacrifices herself.
It's Tale of Two
Sacrifices
Cities.
herself.
It's Charles Dickens.
Great call,
you know.
great call. I should read that book as like source material.
Yeah.
For this. But I really want to show off parts of New York that people don't know about. You know.
Yeah.
The mole person gives a little kiss, and then when it retracts, there's a little bit of dirt on the cheek. I'm sorry. That's
this
that's
shit could be really good.
I'm just kidding. I'm kind of joking.
I'm gonna put that out there.
Say the title again. What?
All I have in my notes is mole people.
Okay.
I'm gonna Untitled Mole People. Film.
Untitled Mole People Project.
Dude,
that was that's the best one
I must have
yet.
had a
Gabe.
better title for that. I don't know.
Gabe, that's the best one yet, man.
I'm proud.
Oh yeah.
That's
Bring it all in, guys.
That's
We're
good
gonna
shit.
make it.
All right, you're doing a franchise.
I'm gonna hit Matt Vaughn with that.
I'm doing my franchise.
Go.
This is on the other side of the pond, but this is definitely
Other side of the
based on
pond.
Aeschylus's Prometheus Bound, ancient play.
Wait, that's a play.
Yes.
I don't read anything. So okay.
All of the land masses of Earth are underwater in this world, so it's the future. Not sure exactly what year yet. So electricity is much more dangerous and more sparely used. And all of human life takes place in communities that are literally placed directly on top of the ocean, using artificially constructed arcs, essentially. The earth-dwelling, sea-dwelling people of this world are not intellectuals, yet they're contemplative, patient, hardworking, and they don't have sex at all.
What?
Because they can't afford to increase their population and thereby lose their buoyancy. Sex is the death penalty for those people.
Whoa.
And our Prometheus is a guy who has found a way to farm or harvest fire by building large metal beacons reaching up to the sky that attract lightning and store the electricity. He sells the stored electricity to people so they can start fires illegally, which is an illicit activity forbidden by the gods. And our Prometheus gets caught engaging in this activity and is sentenced to imprisonment in the depths of hell, the depths of the ocean.
Wow.
And in the depths of the ocean, he is overseen by guardian mermaids. They aren't full-on mermaids. They're evolved humans with mermaid-like qualities, all of whom are female. One of whom falls for him and becomes his love in sexual liberation, introducing him, this is where it takes a pulpier turn, introducing him to BDSM sex and changing the course of his existence. Thereby also turning him from a foolish boy into a man, and they fall deeply in love, and she wishes to go to the surface with our Prometheus, so they do. And they run from the wrath of the earth and the sea people and the gods together in a fanciful and thrilling odyssey. And they eventually stumble upon, this is crazy, and they eventually stumble upon an unknown landmass and claim it as their own. And they build their own empire there. An empire built on freedom, sexual liberation, freedom of speech and thought. A utopia, essentially. This is a serious idea that I wrote all of this down. And then, of course, the empire eventually crumbles, which is the tragedy of it all. So it's a trilogy. So this is Prometheus Bound. Then there's Prometheus Unbound, which is like the building up of the empire. And then there's Prometheus Ravaged, so which is the third film in the trilogy depicting the fall of the empire. And that's my idea.
I mean, I think
excited.
I
If I
think
can
the
watch-
underwater BDSM scenes have a lot of potential. I think here.
Yeah,
It's kind of
I like it. As I was reading it, I was like, oh, I do really like this idea.
I like the scope. I like the scale of the world. I'm excited for like Little Mermaid.
The
meets,
BDSM thing is a little
Bioshock.
funny, and I actually think it should be.
It reminds me of like an Avatar when they like interlock the hair and then went, oh, you
Yeah,
know, like
totally,
the hair,
Totally.
the hair braid things.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a very interesting interpretation of alien, like, you know,
Yeah.
Jim
How do
Cameron.
you
I was like,
imagine
I mean,
the,
he's taking a crack at, like, well, how would they do that? You know, it's very sacred to them, you know. But
Yeah.
here, it's very, I mean, I get a lot of Waterworld vibes here, though, which worries me because, like, Waterworld was a very risky thing for them. And the thing is, like, as soon as
I've
people,
never seen Waterworld.
Kevin Costner, it actually tanked his
write this
career.
down,
It was the last movie he did before people were like, dude, he's bad for your movie now. Because Waterworld's super expensive. Basically, Waterworld was all the polar ice caps have melted. Everything is underwater. People live on flotillas and rafts above water. And it's kind of like Mad Max on water. So, like, you know,
apparently it's really good.
it was like very high production value. But it bombed at the box office. That's what
Yuck.
happened, yeah. So, like, that's the one thing where I was just like, I thought the first half was basically straight up Waterworld. But then afterwards, when you came down and you saw the sexy mermaids, and then they, like, took this poor little boy down to their little dolphin cave to smush him.
And he's transformed from a boy into a man.
He said, I've had sex.
He's a man.
And then now he can return. Now that he's had sex, his eyes are open. He is truly naked. And then he comes up, finds an island. Well, he has to return to the water. The water people.
Yeah,
have to
so
join
this
him,
is like
right?
a
That's
full.
also
When
the
you
whole
think
thing.
of
Fantasy sci-fi.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
Logan's Run
Yeah.
in that sense, right?
It
Where he
is
comes
fan-
back
it
to
is-
the
yeah.
society and they say, like, we can, like, escape our society. Like, we can go with you now. Because he comes back
Yeah.
with, like, his woman and also with an old guy, Peter
Yeah.
Ustinov. Oh, someone's calling me. Oopsies, that's rude. Let me hang up.
All good. Yeah, it is fantasy sci-fi. It is. There's a little bit of like Avatar in there. There's a little bit of I have to see Waterworld.
Do you? So the
And then obviously it has source material
for sure.
being the play. So.
Do you have any scenes in your mind that like really excite you, other than
Besides the
I
mermaid
just
one?
like no. What I liked about the play was just the character of Prometheus, and that being such a solid foundation of like the stakes, basically.
right?
Yeah, that's really what that and then from there I'm really
I
using.
wonder, just putting it out there, what if there was an element that you can tie something similar to the Matrix here, where
Okay.
Prometheus lives in a world that this is how it is and this is how it can only be, and it's not until he discovers that the gods are lying to us that there's not only a world above the water, but there's access to resource and technology and freedom.
Yeah.
Which, again, intrinsically, your story is about liberation, and that's what Matrix is about as well. I think there's a lot of
what if
like,
there's
meta
actually-
themes you can carry from one to the next and learn from if you rewatch the first
Or
film.
maybe that's it. Like maybe when he goes to that island, like maybe there are some people, and that's like maybe that's like who teaches him how to live. The life.
No,
they're
I
like
love
Zion,
that.
basically.
I love Matrix and Avatar feel fitting. Yeah, I gotta watch Waterworld now.
I think there should be a scene though near the beginning. So you say like the penalty of sex is death.
Yeah.
There has to be a scene where like a young couple, a very young couple,
Yeah.
that like you sympathize with because they're like going through puberty. They're young. Obviously, this is an urge. They're like having their trial and execution, and like all the other people, including the main character, is watching as it happens. And it immediately shows how like brutal and just like this is the way and the culture of the people, and we throw you right into it. That's like the cold
Totally.
open.
This might be a little weird or high thought or whatever. What if it's so far in the future that they've managed to genetically alter humans that they can control the population size and nobody has reproductive organs? And something
That's
about
interesting.
something about the specific character, for whatever reason,
Oh, it's like Blade Runner-esque where they finally can.
something happens with him that like he can experience a climax, a stimulation, something
Yeah.
that is considered a sin among society, and he's introduced to that when he meets another, essentially human figure, who has been.
Yeah.
You could even tie in the mermaids. I didn't get this from the story you told me, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
What if the mermaids were actually humans from centuries ago, but they were banished because they disagreed?
I was gonna say, what if there's something about a gene pool?
I like that. I like that idea, Gabe.
And
Yeah.
so there's
Sorry,
just
Sam.
something there where him meeting the mermaids is so much more of a sin than just like, you're leaving home.
Because you're hanging out with these like devolved humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What if the
Basically,
the Waterworld people, they're slightly, inbred? Well, I mean not inbred, but like they're such a like homogenous gene pool because like they're an island and they could only But the thing is, my question is, they do have to reproduce at some point, or else they'll die out, right? Isn't that the whole thing? Or maybe they just have tight population control, like they can only have one.
I think the mermaids. The reality is that these mermaid people are probably fucking a lot. Like they're probably having a lot of sex and reproducing at a rapid, like you're saying. I think that's what you're suggesting, right?
Well, I was gonna say, like, how do the people on the rafts, the Waterworld people, like the Heroes tribe, how do they keep alive? Like, is it just like heavy regulated population control, or just
really
like outright?
heavily regulated?
That
I
makes
imagine
sense.
it being
So
almost
like
like
you're paired,
fascistically,
like you're paired off. You have to have like one child, and you're assigned one.
Yeah,
child.
like limitations on how
That
many
would
children
I
you
think
can
that makes more
have.
sense, yeah.
Well, because it's like we can't lose our buoyancy, you know.
Yeah, so
We
maybe
can't sink.
So maybe they called up and it's like it's a woman who got pregnant and just like it's too so she has like a forced abortion or something.
Yeah,
like something like that where it's like also horrific, where it like drives home the theme of like the tight culture of the place. It's instead of like a couple being put to death for having sex, it's now just like a woman who's forcefully like punished for.
Well,
being
it's
pregnant
also you have to
again for the second
imagine
time.
that what if someone got pregnant, or a couple was like with child, and then they want to keep it, and then
That's the thing. I think there's opportunity to do that. Where now, like, the hero takes, like, maybe the pregnant woman she's about to be punished, but like before she is set to be punished, and like they take away her baby, the hero takes her and like they leave, and they almost become like the Joseph, Mary, and Jesus trio. And like, but the thing is that complicates the mermaid thing. You know,
I would love the idea if, in order to like further color Prometheus's background, what if Prometheus is either let's consider that you can only have one child per family, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with twins? You kill one of them.
You
just
one of
can't
them.
have both.
Yeah.
But the mother refused to kill Prometheus.
Yeah.
Gave Prometheus to another woman.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole personal
that's
journey.
interesting.
That's either A, where
This is all great shit.
Either
yeah.
A, he finds out.
He finds out later.
That's not his mother. Who is his mother? This could be part of his journey of breaking out. You could do some weird Exodus Rex shit there if you want. But the other option, separate from the twin thing, is what if there is a real, like, bastardized element of society where, like, this is interesting. What if Prometheus is a twin and he was allowed to live? And the reason he was allowed to live is because the rich people on the boat, they control the rules, you know what I'm saying? And they allow themselves X amount. So the poor people know Prometheus is a bastard. And it's part of Prometheus going beyond the walls with the protection of the section of the boat he's on and learning that, like, where he was, the aristocrats kind of don't give a fuck, but down below in the depths of the ship, people really look down on him.
Maybe that's the reason he has to get ejected from the whole place. Like, maybe he doesn't know, but it's revealed, like, and suddenly it's a scandal. And the thing is, like, his actual brother, who's like owned by the other people, like, maybe he leads the charges, just like it's still against the rules, whatever. But like, maybe that's and later he returns and there's that reconciliation. I don't know, but maybe it's a good reason for him to get ejected. Is that like he's actually secretly like a bastard child who's given away for protection, but and then maybe his adoptive mother's just like, you got to get out of here because I do love you. Get out of here.
So many great. I think what I love about this is like hearing you guys talk about it. So many great possibilities. So many great.
The greatest of which
possibilities. What
is the mermaid BDSM scene?
Yes.
The most important. Someone's called the centerpiece of the.
I'm just saying you could get a really nice like saddle for like a horse, and you could like you could do something really like I don't know, a Little Mermaid-esque with the.
Except not for.
I don't know. I think it's powerful.
Not for children.
I think. For
sure. Like he's drowning underwater, like, and then she goes, give a little kiss to breathe water. That's how that happens.
Oh, that would be kind of.
And then he could breathe again.
Wow.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
All right. We just
wait. What's the title?
Well, it's like kind of like
Prometheus Bound.
Prometheus Bound.
And then there's because that's the title of the actual play, and then I'm taking in the two sequels. I'm going with the second movie would be Prometheus Unbound, and then the third movie would be Prometheus Ravaged.
This sounds like a Timothy Chalamet role because it's like half Dune. I mean, I kind of meme. I'm kind of joking. Like I don't really think that's.
I wonder if.
But it's just like this is such a Timothy Chalamet. Like
I'm
now a man, mother.
If
I'm now a
Timothy
man.
Chalamet wanted to do this thing, I'm in.
I was a boy, but now I'm a man, and now I will come to free my people. Kind of deal.
I'm there.
And he's so cool and so like thin and lanky.
Hell yeah. Timer looks like it's about. Let me double check on the camera.
Okay. Yep, I think we're just right at that point.
Oh no, fucking thing.
Oh no, did it stop?
Oh, we lost the cam.
Yeah, I think it recorded.
Fuck.
No.
some point it beats.
All right. Well, we'll just say, well, you missed it. Sorry, guys.
No, they didn't miss it because we got the audio. Just go back for a little bit.
Sound is still speeding.
I'm still speeding.
Dale, I think that was
Somebody come. I think that was very nice.
Be a lockup.
What? You know, I'm so interested. What led you to writing down? Sexually educates him, also in the ways of BDSM. What compelled you to include that detail?
Just
you know,
divine inspiration, man.
Okay.
People were speaking to me and sending me messages from the depths. You know what I mean? Like
from the depths. Dale, late in the night, goes out to the L.A. River with a little rowboat.
Yeah. There's all these mermaid people down there, and they were speaking to me.
They were throwing up chains. And
they're like that's their thing. Like they have whips as weapons to fight, you know, the land dwellers.
Exactly.
They're like the sea people, like the ancient sea people, except they have whips. But they also use like this is a tool of pleasure and also power, you know?
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Dude, these movies can be slap.
You know? But also they use their tail to slap too.
Shout out to the like these two franchises could be
lot of half animal hybrid peoples in both of these movies.
Which is why I think there is. I didn't think there was as much of a link between what we were about to pitch as there actually is. Though there is a link. This
is like in the same cinematic universe. Your element is water. Your element is earth. There should be an element of fire, and there should be an element of air. It's like Avatar, basically. Like the sky people, and then it's like you know the volcano people. Or something. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. The desert. That's fire. The desert.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So should we do? We obviously have more films we need to pitch.
Yeah.
Sam's idea should come after ours idea.
I don't really.
Well, I mean, Sam, thanks for coming in.
Oh yes, anytime.
Yeah, and no, but
here's the thing,
I like
Sam.
that other idea you pitched, but you got 3 minutes to. Do you have 3 minutes just to pitch me kind of whatever?
Anything?
Yeah, the thing is, we have to leave
I don't really have. Okay, well, I was gonna say, you know what was really on my mind. Do you remember the days of like the Mad TV producers and the actors? They would make like those parody movies, scary movies, superhero movie,
for sure.
disaster movie. They need to make spy movie, except they just like the Gray Man. Like this movie is so ripe for the picking because it's kind of a parody in itself, where it just like literally takes every cliche and amps it to 11. So what if there was just like that? They just did the same thing. Except, like, they really amped up Ryan Gosling's character. Like, he's, like, the same, like, he's wearing the Drive jacket. He's just like, oh, I'm a spy. They don't talk. But, the whole thing is just, like, it's a spy movie. Every single fucking cliche.
It's a spoof movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what?
It's a spoof movie?
Yeah, a spoof movie. Like, the same people who did superhero movie,
not
disaster
another
movie,
spy
thriller.
movie?
Yeah. Oh, I guess that was already existed. But that was, like, very James Bond-esque. This is, like...
No, I don't know if it exists. I'm saying this would be.
Basically, yeah.
Does
yeah,
that
none
exist? Does that exist?
It probably
I don't
does.
think it does.
But all I feel like is just like there's just like so much like I literally saw the whole thing. I was like, I feel like there's like so much opportunity here.
So what
just,
happens
like,
at
they
the
just
top?
like meme.
What
I don't know.
do?
Like the thing is, it's got to be like one of those, you know, like the way the SNL writers write it, where, you know, like they're just parodying, you know, the characters are always like, oh, well, Chris Evans is also fucking Captain America, like, you know, like that's like there's gonna be some reference. I don't really have it. I came unprepared. All I know is
Sam,
I missed those movies. I missed those parody movies. Because you know what was crazy? You know the superhero movie with Drake Bell? Okay. Well, he is canceled now. But like that one was actually not a bad one. Where he was the Dragonfly, the green Dragonfly. It was like a parody of Spider-Man.
Right.
And like everything else, yeah. But it was actually pretty good.
So if we ran with this spoof,
yeah.
What do we think the
But I thought it would be like the Grayer Man or like the 50 Shades of Grey. No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense.
The inciting incident at the top for not another spy movie.
He wakes up. He's on the beach of.
He's in the Maldives.
He's in the Maldives.
Well, I was gonna say like shot for shot right here. Like he's still in the juvenile prison jail. Some guy comes in.
Okay.
And it's like it's all of a sudden it's like kind of Scared Straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scared Straight, like
and,
the
like,
reality
everything is,
show
yeah.
of. You
Could
know what
be.
I mean?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like they take a spin on that, and then like so, you know.
So it's like sort of blending. Interesting. Sorry.
And his flashback was like, oh, I killed my dad or whatever. It's just like. He's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Or maybe it's just like, it's like completely different. Like, he didn't kill his dad. He just like.
But instead of Billy Bob Thornton, it's Steve Carell across from Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Steve Carell, and it's Mickey Rourke's in it too.
Exactly.
Mickey, yeah. I think like, who's the bad guy?
Mickey Rourke is the dad.
Like, Paul Dano could be the bad, yeah.
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano
like
could be
that.
the Chris Evans
Okay,
guy.
okay.
Yeah.
Who's Mickey Rourke play?
He plays Billy Bob. Oh, no, that's Steve Carell, right?
I was saying he could play the dad who isn't actually dead in this film.
Yeah.
Put the bullet in his head.
Yeah, the whole ending is that like he reconciles with the dad. It's just like, I actually love you, son. I love you too, dad. And then it's just like, you want to come back to the agency? Nah, I gotta spend time with my dad or something.
Oh, so
I
it
like
becomes a
that.
father-son
It's just like
movie.
it's just
And then
like
they play Frisbee with each
completely
other.
like ham-fisted, dumb. You know,
Well, that's your time.
that's my time. What do you think? What do you think?
That was pretty
$200 million
What's the
for
title?
that? Can I get
What's the
That
$200
was pretty. That was pretty great.
I don't know. It's got to be something like Gray. What was it? Is it The Gray Man or Gray Man?
The Gray Man, right?
The Gray Man.
Yeah.
What would you call your film?
It's got to be something similar to that, where it's like, even if it's just like gray but spelled with an E.
Like the grayest man?
The Grape
Yeah, the
Man?
grayer man.
The Grape.
The
The
Grape
Grape
Man.
Man.
I like the grape man.
Yeah, maybe, and that's the thing. And he's just like, he's coming for you, the most psychopathic of all killers. Who is he? They call him the Grape Man, and he's just like always eating grapes.
Always
That's his.
hunting down
like,
cotton
What's
candy
going on?
grapes from
Why is it so
Trader
hard to
No,
kill
he
this guy,
is a grape though. He is a grape.
Oh, he's literally grape.
Yeah, he's literally a grape.
He's purple.
He's like the Hanes underwear grape.
Yo.
The line
I'm
of face.
talking
Wearing,
about.
like,
He's trying to sneak
Yo.
across like entire. Every battle takes place in a department store, so people don't think he's out of place.
the Gray Man.
Totally.
The
Like imagine all the great like Macy's, Herald Square,
Yeah.
New York City
Yeah.
battles in between the clothes and that, and he's wearing.
I don't know. We have to shop. We have to send it to marketing or something. I don't know. What is like a good like portmanteau or something? That's just like the Gray Man. Something the Gray. No, I was
The
gonna say
grape.
The,
The grape
The
man.
Grape Man.
That's it, dude. It's
That
the
sounds like
grape-
a. Okay.
Are you talking about like a wine to go along with it?
No, I was just gonna say that sounds like
yeah,
kind
maybe
of like
we
a
pump out
horror
some.
movie now.
I
The
think
Grape
merchandising
The
wise,
grape man.
we get a wine, we
splash
get
of
a
Malbec.
wine, we get underwear
Great.
at stock shelves at Walmart
Yep,
with
yep,
like
yep.
some Hanes.
Sam, you give it a drink.
Oh,
What's that shit? Well, no, I'm Fruit of the Loom is
Fruit of
what
the
it
Loom
is,
is
not
what it is.
Hanes.
It's not Hanes.
No.
Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit
I used to wear Fruit of the
We
Loom
get like
when I
some
was a kid.
merch with
Yeah.
Fruit of the Loom
Yeah.
going. The Grape Man, get some
Yes.
grape juice for the
Fruit of the Loom, you can
kids, some
sponsor us
wine
if
for
you
the adults, and
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
Ooh, I gotta sneeze.
sneeze a
it was a little dusty,
Well,
a little hot.
Thanks for coming in, man, and
We're gonna talk it over.
yeah, we're gonna talk it over. That
We
was a great
definitely
idea,
have a budget of at least $35 to $40 million.
yeah, for that,
The majority
for the
of it
Grape
will
Man,
be
possibly,
spent
yeah.
on probably purple spandex,
Yep.
and
Or actually, half of it will be spent on marketing, like what they did with
Also
Gray
true.
Man.
Yeah.
so you got about 20 bills.
Yeah.
Are you positive you can afford Ryan Gosling? Is there another actor?
No, I think. Well, who do you think should be the lead for the Grape Man? Who's the guy?
Is he
who's
an older man or a younger
We just
man?
want to put Ryan Gosling in everything, don't we?
We do. But okay, how about this? Ryan Gosling is Billy Bob Thornton in this film. He's like the mentor, the guy you trust. Ryan Gosling's character in this, who plays the Grape Man,
I was thinking
Bill
like.
Burr.
Well, no, that's
Imagine
crazy.
Bill Burr going off and killing everybody in a grape suit. Come on,
I'm in.
it's
It's a little
that-
ridiculous, I think.
And we only got to pay him like $5 million because we'd let him write the script, and then we give him lots on the
Yeah.
back end. Yeah,
Yep. I love it. All right,
I
thank
think
you
it's
so much
losing
for coming
some
in.
water though.
losing
Okay.
some water.
Thanks for coming in, man.
I like
Appreciate
your. I like
it.
your. I don't think I have enough mermaid BDSM.
Yeah, get some more of that in there.
You know, in
A
my.
little bit. Well done. Well done.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you so
Thank
much
you,
for
thank
coming
you.
in.
for coming in.
Well, gentlemen, this we're it's looking a little dirty in here, so
Yeah.
we gotta
Finally, we're
gotta
free.
Clean this up.
We can go.
We gotta clean this attic.
You don't want to do any other improv pitches?
I mean, do you want to?
I think it's fun. I think it's great. Dale, you got another film in you, don't you? Me and Sam, we got to leave to get our dry cleaning in about 2 minutes, but we think that you could.
Dude, I gotta leave to put my clothes in the water. I am soaked in sweat.
Yeah, I think
In a swamp
honestly,
ecosystem right
I
here.
want to wrap it up. I'm sweating.
Yeah, the frogs are cooking right now, which I kind of like that metaphor.
Do you have something you're itching to?
Oh no, but I could.
Right, you don't have it. You don't have it now per se.
I'm just saying, like, I think there could be like a really great film, you know, out on the shores of Normandy in the 1940s or something like
Sure,
that.
sure.
You know,
And what like it's not Normandy and
Was it
it's the beach
something-
of Normandy, and
was it
it's
something
it's
around
a German
June?
what
guy.
1940s we're talking. We're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
World War II.
Yeah. The main character's a Nazi.
Okay, sure. Schindler's List, kind of.
Schindler's List, exactly.
Sure.
And Nazi's played by somebody help me out here.
Ray Fiennes or
Ray Fiennes.
again?
All right.
Schindler's
Reprising
List,
his-
another
well, he already
Schindler's
did
List
it.
reference.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
But what is it like? Is it just a straight up D-Day movie again? Or?
I think it's a romance during that day.
Okay.
What, they lock
And
eyes from the bunker and the beach?
It's
Yes,
a romance
exactly.
from wait. It's a romance from the day.
On the day of Normandy.
Okay, sure.
Does that
And
make
and
sense?
and Yeah.
And so on
Yeah.
that day, people are rushing up the beach. They're getting kind of messed up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone
Definitely
say,
not an understatement of the century at all.
Okay,
And,
but we'll gloss over that.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we have German
We'll gloss over
people-
like the important
Yeah, totally.
historical stuff.
Absolutely. We don't need those details at all.
Right.
But Ray Fiennes is falling in love with Julianne Moore.
Oh, I like that. I like Julianne Moore.
Yep, she's great.
We also try to put Julianne Moore in everything.
How about this? We'll make it a redemption story. Julianne Moore is a prisoner of war in France. She's French. She's a French woman.
okay.
I like that.
There we
I
go.
like Julianne Moore as a French woman.
There you go.
Nothing like Julianne Moore from Boston, right?
Is she from Boston?
She is from Boston. I think.
There you go. So,
What? No wonder.
I'm
Like
pretty sure.
I always see Julianne Moore as like playing my mother in a movie,
Yeah.
and
She
that
could
makes
do it.
sense.
She could do it.
Doing a French. That's interesting.
So
Anyway.
Ray Fiennes falling in love with this French woman while he's calling out commands to destroy the Americans storming the beach, and everybody else is joining them. And I imagine by the end of the film, they, I guess they experience a little Stockholm syndrome. That sounds terrible.
Or maybe, does he die?
I imagine he does die.
He dies, but she lives on.
Does he do something that like gives up his Nazi uniform, or be crazy?
She dies. You said
No, he dies. Maybe.
he dies. She
She
dies.
lives.
Sorry.
Julianne Moore always gets to live. Ray Fiennes will die tragically,
Oh jeez.
but in a really fun spectacle way.
Yeah.
Like he'll get, I don't know, blown up, chopped and quartered.
It'll
Any
be
others?
kind of a Charlie in the or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory thing, like Blueberry Girl.
Yeah.
She blows
There we
up
go.
into Veronica.
That's
Veruca.
it.
Something.
They try to
Veruca
escape.
Salt.
They try to escape in a hot air balloon, but she doesn't get up in it in time, and he goes on and
Wow.
shoot the balloon.
Wow.
Explodes in a fiery rage, like the end of Nope, which that was a great film. So I think that would lock in the win.
Yeah. Wow. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Balloons and Babes on the Beach of Normandy.
Balloons and
Wow,
babes on the
okay.
beach of Normandy.
I
That sounds
it.
like a campy exploitation film,
Yeah.
actually. And that sounds
Trauma.
kinda
Let's get
fun.
Trauma Entertainment on the phone.
Yeah,
again.
let's get
I
them on
think
the
Ray
phone.
Fiennes would do it for like a cool $20,000. Right?
Absolutely.
You may have to replace him with like
20,000. Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone who would be woefully miscast in this role, like an Eric Roberts or something. He's just like clearly way older. Oh, actually, Julianne Moore. I guess. Well, I don't know the age.
I mean, we can swap out for Billy Bob Thornton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Billy Bob
sure.
Thornton, and just
You
like
would
this.
crush.
Billy Bob Thornton would do it for.
He would just
What's-
talk
what's
in
the
his
name of the
American
guy?
accent the whole time, just like they're coming on the beach. Get them. I love you, even though you're French.
What's the name of the guy from The Blacklist? He would be great.
Oh, James Spader.
James Spader could kill it.
He'd do it for 20,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's for the craft.
It's for the art.
I would
Babes
say
and
so.
balloons. On
Babes
the
and
beaches
balloons
of,
and
on the beach
beaches.
of Normandy.
I would say so.
Babes and balloons.
Yeah, you could do if you're really feeling
Babes and
ambitious.
Luftballons on the beach of
You
Normandy.
give it something like you give it a beautiful title that is like Summer Breeze. Well, Normandy. I forget what takes.
Summer
place, right?
breeze makes me feel fine.
But it's something to do.
Running through the jungle
Something to do with the
at
scene, right? And then in
night.
parentheses, you have Balloons and Babes and Beach of Normandy. And then it's all shot in the style of a Wes Anderson film.
Oh yeah, so it's like it romanticizes it, symmetrical. It's like
Exactly.
cutesy.
So we can get Wes Anderson for this.
I would say so. He's available.
Which means that
and
we-
he,
well,
and he does
no,
a lot of projects.
Then-
He does a lot of projects that he doesn't
Grand
write.
Budapest.
That's
Grand
what he
Budapest.
does.
No,
He
the
definitely
guy
doesn't
would-
write all his.
it would have to be
projects.
Edward
Doesn't write
Norton
anything,
then.
no.
Yeah,
I'm
he's not a
pretty sure
writer.
I think the Wilson brothers write all his.
Yeah,
scripts, and he just
exactly,
kind
exactly.
of-
Yeah.
He's like, I guess I'll show up for.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that means that all his Edward Norton's gonna be the guy then.
Obviously.
Like all his Wes Anderson people. Bill Murray cameos as like the old general who comes in
Oh,
from the
wow,
front
I
one
like
day
that.
says, "What's going on here? Okay, is the beach good?" Yeah, and then he just like leaves.
Yeah.
And then
Totally,
he
I love
leaves.
it. I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
And
I'm
he
there.
leaves. And then and then I mean I don't know what actresses Wes Anderson likes to have.
Oh,
In his films.
Well, he has.
He had
Saoirse
Leia
Ronan,
in the-
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan, yeah.
Oh, that's how you name it? I thought it was Saoirse.
Well, he had Francis
Saoirse.
McDormand in his last
Saoirse?
movie, The
Yes.
French Dispatch, which I really liked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Saoirse Ronan will play.
Saoirse
play the
Ronan was in
French
it. Leia
daughter.
Seydoux was in it, who's great.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting?
I'm trying to think of other films.
Frances McDormand.
I mean, there are a lot of guys in a lot of these, but no, come on. West. We got
Well, actually,
Grand
Ray
Budapest.
Ray Fiennes was in Grand Budapest, so maybe he could use Ray Fiennes.
There's Is it Moonlight Kingdom?
Moonrise.
Moonrise Kingdom. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Who else is? There's Life Aquatic.
Yeah, Life.
Darjeeling. Who plays the mother in
Darjeeling?
Darjeeling? Do we know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I love that movie. Man.
Darjeeling Limited is so good.
Yeah. I always thought it was Darjeeling.
I thought it was Darjeeling.
I stole a shot from Darjeeling Limited and put it in Magnolia Flowers.
Yeah.
The shot of the guys coming out of the house.
Yeah.
The sort of like backwards dolly and then left to right tracking.
Yeah.
I took that from Darjeeling Limited.
I love that.
Like literally like kind of like to a T. It's like one of the frames I totally like just like snagged and just kind of used the exact motion and sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Wes Anderson. Thank you for
He's great.
Thank you for
gift.
directing this movie, Balloons
absolutely.
and Beaches.
Yeah, thank
and
you
babes.
too for that.
And
And
summer breeze.
you'll do it for $50,000, right, Wes?
Wes? Wes?
Yeah, I'll do it. All right, great, man. Thank you so much.
Wes is the cameraman, by
Wes,
the way. We
Wes
fired the
just
cameraman.
popped in.
Thank you for
Yeah,
shooting,
no,
yeah.
Wes has been shooting this episode. Thank you,
Yeah.
Wes, for
Thank you for
that.
hitting
We
the button.
really
Thank you.
appreciate that shit out of that, man. You're a
Except for
fucking
Wes,
hero.
he
God
also
bless
has his legs in
America.
the stocks like Sam.
No, absolutely. Wes, listen, dude. You got to dress a little more professionally for the podcast. You're kind of wearing these quirky clothes, and
It's a little hot, don't you think?
yeah,
wearing
Wes.
all
Like
that up here.
take some layers off. Like
Yeah,
come
you don't
back
need
in
to be
tomorrow
wearing
with
a
just like a
scarf
golf
right
shirt
now.
and some
yeah,
shorts.
some
Like
shorts.
don't
Yeah.
stop wearing like all this clothing and scarves. It's 90 degrees, man.
Terrible.
It's 90 degrees. You
We're
know,
in Los
you already
Angeles.
passed out once. We don't need you passing out again.
Not again.
Ridiculous.
Wait, he passed out?
Yeah, he passed out, Wes. Yeah.
Well, I could ask him.
I remember I passed
you
out,
passed
and you guys, fuck you guys, man. Wes, come on, dude.
Wes, you
Getting
gotta calm
rowdy.
down. We gave you all the water.
You're getting rowdy, dude. We gave you tons of water. I gave you some of my BCAA aminos.
Yep.
You had electrolytes up the ass, man.
He
There's
knows
no-
the deal. He has to direct, or else he doesn't get it.
Yeah. I'm out of here, man. Whatever, dude. Whatever, Wes.
We'll just make you shoot another H&M commercial.
Yeah.
We got you, Wes. We got
All right.
you.
Well, this has been
Great.
the Movie Addicts podcast. We had Sam.
With Sam. Wait. I guess this would make sense. Sam, Zhang, any
Yeah.
social media?
Do you like
to
anywhere
plug?
people could find you that you would want them to find you, or do you not want them to find you?
They could just find me on Instagram. It's just my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam David Zhang. That's it.
Wait, so like say your Instagram handle like at clearly.
Sam David Zhang. I don't really post
Cool,
there though.
cool.
But you can message me.
Rad,
I'll
man.
message you back. I'll say
Yeah.
hi. I
Hey,
don't know.
cool.
That's all I. Oh, that breeze is lovely.
It's really
man.
nice.
Did you feel that?
Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Do you think we'll get the copyright flag
Absolutely.
on?
I don't think we sang it
YouTube?
well
No,
enough.
not at all.
No, we didn't sing it.
You just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that sounds like shit. So we didn't pick it up. They sent me a message. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, this has been the Movie Addicts podcast. I'm Dale.
This is Gabe.
I'm Sam.
Yep, and this
This
is
was
the
fun.
Movie Addicts podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
so
is
much
nice.
for watching.
Wait, what's happening? What's the next movie you guys are doing? You guys don't do that. You guys don't announce. the
No, we're
next
doing
one?
Bullet Train.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're
So
doing Bullet
next,
Train
next
next.
week. Next time is gonna be Bullet Train.
Shout out to Brad Pitt.
Oh,
My
I can't
brother.
Wait. I can't wait.
If that movie stinks, I'm gonna throw a fit. I'm gonna throw a fit. All right, this has been the Movie Addicts podcast.
Word.
Bullet Train better not stink.
I'll be
Thank
very
you.
upset if it does stink.
Yeah.
All right, I cut.
All right, that's that.